hold on. Yeah, you want to add? I can add another one. Can I add another one? No, I can't add another one. I've got one Twitch. Well, I've currently got Art of War Down Under, Twitch, Nova YouTube, FTM YouTube. I can drop off the Art of War Down Under. Oh no, the Art of War Down Under Twitch is a Twitch one. I need some login shit, which is a bit of a pain. Theoretically, we are on a little waiting screen at the moment. Oh, you got it up, have you? Yep. Yeah, I'm just 1 second. Stop talking. Please.
Hello and welcome to the Nova Open Charitable Foundation live stream. This is a virtual event where we're closing out these fabulous raffles going on for the summer here for this foundation. I'm joined by Adam Camilleri.
Evening, everybody. Lovely to be here again.
Tanya Gates.
Good morning.
And we got Josh Diffie, normally behind the scenes, but now we're bringing him up to the front of the scenes, man. Everybody, thanks for joining us. My name is Paul Murphy. I'll be your host for the next couple of hours. Over the course of this live stream, we're going to be talking about some of the wonderful things up for raffle. And towards the end, we're going to be drawing live winners. If you're anywhere watching, we really appreciate you doing it. Want to invite you to hang out with us for as long as you can. And also to get a couple of tickets. We'll put the link up we'll try to get in the chat, or at least we'll talk about it, where you can go to the Nova Open Charitable Foundation website to get some tickets if you haven't already. And if you can't, at least go and check out what they're doing. Look at some of the work from these absolute, just amazing artists, people that have donated their time, their figures, their talent. It's going to be amazing.
Oh man, I'm always so happy to be a part of this every year. And more than that, I just love seeing some of the contributions that our community puts forward. It's actually phenomenal the quality that people are willing to donate to this cause, and every year the community comes out in force. And yeah, Paul and I and the rest of the team, we always try and put on a bit of a show to you guys to close this out. Now, this year there is some incredible pieces coming out of the work, and we're going to talk about some of them as well. But first and foremost, what are we here in support of, guys? We're in support of a bunch of different charities, and the first one I want to tell you guys about, and we'll drip these in throughout the filming and the show, essentially. The first one is we'll talk about is Doctors Without Borders. Do you guys know about these guys?
Oh yeah, but tell us about it. I mean, this is something it's especially right now, the impact that these folks are making on the world is, I mean, really needed. It's amazing.
Yeah, they're phenomenal. So the whole premise is well, it's in the name. Doctors Without Borders, an independent global movement providing medical aid where it's needed most. They operate wherever they're needed. They find the ways, they find the means, and through the support of organizations like us, something that the NOCF is very proud to do. We're able to contribute to them, helping people all over the world, providing aid wherever it may be needed, especially in the times we're in at the moment, where I don't think there's ever been a greater need in our lifetimes, and hopefully there isn't any worse than this. But yeah, guys, I just so freaking happy to be here. Thank you so everybody in the chat as well. Tanya's first time here. Have you been a part of any of these or these kind of events before?
I've been part of charity events before, but nothing quite like this kind of scope. So I'm really, really excited to be a part of it. Thank you for asking me. Basically, anybody says charity and I say, just tell me when and I'll be there.
Spot on. We really appreciate it. Paul, my man, is this our third or fourth rodeo?
This is our third time doing this for the Charitable Foundation, and it really makes me, kind of proud to be here, especially with this, taking the time, talking about this stuff. One, I love miniatures, right? I love helping people. I love hanging out with y'all. I love hanging out with the chat. I see Nurgle Matt checking in. Thanks for joining us this morning. This is awesome. And then I really want to start focusing on some of these amazing models, because there's 3 different categories. Actually, I think 4 different categories. If you go to the website, you'll see there's some armies. And not just from Warhammer, Age of Sigmar or Warhammer 40,000, but there's some other things as well. You go to the units, and in the units you'll see some smaller forces that can be used for some other games like Warhammer Underworlds, where if you get those, if you happen to be the winner of those, that's all you'll ever need for that. You can take that and play it as is. Then we got some single models, and then we got some experiences in that thing in the specials category. And these are time people are donating things from their own personal collection. They've made things specifically for this thing. And people are giving their time and some cool things that you might not ever have the opportunity of getting outside of stuff like this.
Exactly right. On top of that, we have some really great armies. I love what you said, Paul, about this not just being a Warhammer thing. Like, there's actually a really phenomenal Clone Wars, Star Wars Legions army, which is phenomenally top shelf. There's an entire Blackstone Fortress set, the whole set. Not just
like
the good
everything
guys, not just the
released from Blackstone Fortress.
Everything. Yeah. Midwinter Winnies and his team has come together and put that together for us. Is a phenomenal donation they've contributed. And they're a long-time contributor to the NOCF as well. And there's a Crimson Hunters, literally a full 2,000 point Crimson, like a Chaos Space Marine army that I know my man Joshua Diffie, who's sitting here patiently, would love to sink his teeth into. Give him some flashbacks to 7th and 8th edition for sure.
Now, realistically, these are things that are going. Only one person is going to come away with this. We're coming here for the experience. Like the tickets, a few bucks if you can kick in, and then you got the opportunity to maybe come away with some of these things. We're going to be talking about the winners as we get closer to the end of this show. Sorry, Josh.
Nah, all good. I was just listening to all the sound and listening to your beautiful voices. It's also my third NOCF stream,
right.
But it's my it's the second one where I've actually been in front of the cameras. The first one I was just the data monkey behind the scenes, and right at the last minute I'm completely underdressed. They make me they're like, oh, put your camera on. I'm like, Anyway, I did.
Oh, dude, it was
So-
such a wonderful thing.
It
I mean, I'm
was.
telling you, this is a, I mean, it's fun, right? But it's also you know, a little bit of a lift on the behind the scenes, and I wanted folks to see what you were doing. So thanks for coming, for agreeing to come on and hang out with us this whole time this time.
Spot on. Now we have a goal, yeah. So we're gonna be on here for about 3 hours, give or take, and we have a goal for these 3 hours. We want to raise $10,000 in these 3 hours. That's what we thought about, guys. We wanted that was what we wanted the goal that what we want to strive toward, what we want to push towards. And what do you guys think about that? Because 10 grand in 3 hours, like that is an amazing achievement by this community.
Look, that's a lot to ask, right? And this is one of those things to where if you've already gotten some tickets, we want to tell you about some of the things that that are up. We know that we've got a huge amount of tickets that people have already been purchased because they've seen these things over the last few weeks. They wanted to be a part of it. Well, no, if you can dig a little bit deeper, a few more tickets because you want to try to come away with one of these things.
Well, absolutely. I won last year, guys. Which was a phenomenal experience first and foremost because I completely forgot I won because I was doing this and I was like, oh cool, I won something. I'm like, yes. And then a couple of weeks later, I get a package outside my door, which is beautifully put together. It's literally shipped. You're shipping Warhammer miniatures from one side of the world to the other. It's not an easy task. And I got this package beautifully shipped. Had a NOC Elf Collections coin in it that is one of the treasures that I own in my life now, and I got a full, beautifully professionally painted, very pastel squig. Is it a Warcry or was Warhammer Underworlds?
Warhammer Underworlds, yep.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Not a game that I personally play, so I actually gave that to my FLGS, and now new players coming into that game get to experience playing that game with a beautifully top table, professionally painted, hopefully inspirational army. And I just love that the journey that army has gone on. That little thing that some professional painter donated to the NOCF was won by the guy who was on the stream. The guy on the stream gave it to a store, and now new players on the other side of the freaking world from where it was painted get to experience the game through that person's love and experience. I think it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I don't know if people have picked up on this, but you are not in the United States. These raffles are open to anywhere in the world. Anyone can get tickets. If you happen to win, this will be shipped to you no matter where you are, and it will arrive in the condition that you see it on the website.
Yeah,
Exactly
so
right.
we have an Australian, Canadian, and only one Yank. So
Well, this is another thing. Coming together from absolutely around the world to do something great for these organizations that help people all around the world.
Exactly right. And
We got a woo Canada. I almost said Canada. Canada.
Well, exactly right. I'm so happy. I was saying with Charity Hammer a couple of weeks ago, I was just so happy that our community is able to come together and be just more than just people, nerds hanging around playing Toy Soldier, able to contribute it to the wider community and be supportive of it. I think it's an incredible thing the NACF do, and it's my privilege every year to be a part of this with this phenomenal team.
I'm always blown away by how generous this community is as a whole, because it seems like every other weekend there's some sort of major fundraiser going on and the community never fails to come together to make them all a success, and I am so proud to be part of this.
Spot on. A couple more things I want to tell you guys about Doctors Without Borders. This is a place that practice a very high level of medical ethics. They're independent, impartial, and neutral, as in they don't buy into any political state. They're willing to help people wherever they are, whatever they believe in, and whatever they require. I think it's a phenomenal thing, and it's a very, very great thing to donate to because they are like it's one of those things that's beyond us, medical aid. At any point in their lives, no matter what you believe or what you stand for, if you are in need, I love that there's things out there that they are able to assist you. I think it's a great thing for humanity to do as well. But another one I want to talk about is Fisher House. Now, Fisher House is quite a unique enterprise. It's actually quite similar to the charity most supported by Charity Hammer, that being Child's Play. This is Fisher House builds comfort homes where military and veteran families can stay free of charge while loved ones are in hospital or medical care. And I think it's a great thing they're able to do, especially for people in this. So, because it's a pretty rough time of your life, especially in this day when, who knows what could be happening to people out there. I think they do incredible work as well.
There's a couple different components to this. Some of the entries in the raffles, they're going to specific charities. And so take a look, and there's something that's particularly speaks to you. You
Yep.
may be able to kick in a couple of raffle tickets that go to a specific charity. And I don't know if we can actually. We have an hour. There's an hour at the time of me saying this. There's an hour and 30 minutes left in the raffle. So that's how long you've got to get a few of these tickets for things that you might actually want. So can we show off a couple of the models, Diff?
Sure can. All right, so let's.
Like right on the banner right there on the novaopenfoundation.org where you can go, you'll see Baroness Aurelia, which is just a astounding example of an Imperial Knight. Actually, I think with the color scheme, you can get away with using it for whatever you like. And these are things that you may not play this army, but these are centerpieces. These are things that are going to look absolutely fabulous on your shelf as an objective in the middle of a table or whatever. These are going to be just exemplary pieces of wonder.
I look at this. This is the one I want. I have put more tickets on this than anything else, on everything else put together. I want this one. And
I got a couple of friends that feel the same way, by the way. So you're in good company.
You tell them to stop. Don't.
No, get in there and get this stuff.
Get it. But I just love all this thing comes with. You feel like, cool, I'm just getting a model. You're getting so much more. This artist has put so much extra work into this, and it really shows. Not only is this model a one-of-a-kind piece, it comes with a bunch of one-of-a-kind stuff. There's a banner. There's an actual artist banner that comes with this. In addition to having her very own wound counter that is built specifically for this model, it's magnetized in order to fit in its very own KR case or movement case, whatever it may be. And I just think this is a one-of-a-kind, absolute stunning model.
Look at the detail and the pose in that. That is something that took great care, great artistry, and then the heraldry, like all the techniques on this miniature are things that are, I mean, I don't mind saying they're difficult for a lot of people to achieve. I mean, look at this, and this is done to such a high degree of success. I think people will be proud to own it in their collection.
Sorry, that's what I missed. I was trying to tell you guys about the kind of banners it comes with. It's a stretched art portrait, 16 by 20 inches, created by Terence Sheldon, specifically to share the story of this knight. So you're actually getting like a whole thematic piece in addition to getting a stunning model. I think this artist has gone above and beyond the call of the charity and has really, really done something special here.
The links to what you're talking about are in the listing here, and also you'll see that the raffle supports the Fisher House Foundation. So again, if there's specific things that you're looking to support as a result of your contributions, that's another way to do it, because there's all different levels here. Sometimes you might just want to the shot at coming away with a miniature. Sometimes you might just want to a way to, as an avenue, a fun little way to support some of these charities or organizations.
Yeah, spot on, man.
Or you might want to cast a wide net. You want to get one of these tickets here, one of these tickets there. Support several things.
Well, that's what I did with the
tickets.
So the other things I bid on, I went to the experiences option, the special offers, pretty much, and there's some very, very, very interesting things there. Now, this is the one that, this change every year. The NOCF has a phenomenal range of miniatures from a bunch of different games, but this is the stuff that seems to change every year. This is stuff that gets me really excited. There's a mini wargaming bunker trip, 5 days, 4 nights accommodation for a single $10 ticket. You have the chance to win essentially like a most of a week's holiday. You could spend hundreds of dollars and not get an equivalent thing, especially for some people who are so passionate about the game, hopefully as the people buying these tickets. I feel like that's just a really unique thing that you can't really get anywhere else. Like, you could put $1,000 on that and I'd consider it.
That's a great point. And speaking, the mini wargaming crew, they're a part of this, and we'll talk about the Crimson Hunter army in a bit. We'll save that for a bit, because that's one of that project is one of the hallmarks of the organization, the Nova Open Charitable Foundation, if you ask me, because it's a bunch of different artists coming together to make an army happen, a coordinated army happen, where you get examples of lots of people's work in that. And that's going to be fun to talk about. We actually get to talk to Dave from Mini Wargaming here. Well, some of the segments we're going to introduce over the course of the broadcast here is speaking to some of the people that were behind the scenes to help coordinate some of this stuff. And there is a celebrity hiding in the ranks there in that Crimson Hunter thing that we can get to in just a bit. some of the things that I'm looking forward to. I guess can we talk about the Blackstone Fortress? We mentioned that earlier, but that is also helping contribute to one of the charities we have not talked about yet. And this is the entire Blackstone Fortress collection. What do I mean by that? Blackstone Fortress is one of those games, and what I love about some of these games from Games Workshop that are, different from Warhammer 40,000 and Age of Sigmar is that this is something that makes it accessible to people that may feel like jumping into the tabletop war game, tabletop strategy, or whatever is either beyond what they want to do, not the experience they want to get from board games and or from their few hours of gaming. But the Blackstone Fortress and things like it's like lets you really expand who you can play these types of games with. And so if you are the Warhammer 40,000 enthusiast, you then get to share this with some of your friends in a way that they might find it a little bit easier jumping into with this board game experience.
Well, this is a ridiculous contribution. This is so I can't tell you how big a thing this is, just to like say, hey, we believe in this cause and here you go. This is 77 miniatures. All of them, the vast majority of them, are individual miniatures you can't purchase elsewhere apart from in these packages, in these box sets. And they've all been painted to an exceptionally high standard by the Midwinter Minis team. And,
yeah, and we got to speak to Guy too, who's fabulous to talk to.
Absolutely. Tanya, have you had a chance to look at some of these pieces, and what do you think?
Oh, the Blackstone Fortress stuff? I think it's absolutely stunning. The cool thing I think about the Blackstone Fortress a piece that is here is not only can you play Blackstone Fortress with these minis, but I think almost all of them actually have data sheets that you could play in Warhammer 40K as well. So you really get a little bit more value if you actually are looking to play with these pieces, I think, from this particular set of miniatures.
I run a very dangerous risk if I win this. I think I put some tickets in those. I can't remember. But if I win this, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I'm doing Trader Guard, all right? I guess it's just happening.
I actually you can see on the landing page for this set of miniatures Esper and Locarno, and I actually use that in my guard army for a astropath. So you can also, you don't have to use the data sheets that are like official for Warhammer 40K. You can actually use these for a lot of different things as proxy as well.
There are a lot of corresponding data sheets that the vast majority of people would be very happy for you to use these miniatures for, just because they're so exceptional. And as soon as if anybody picks up these models and has a look at it with any bespeckled eyes, they'll be like, wow, these are very high quality paint jobs as well.
I love all the humans and stuff from the Warhammer 40,000 world. I think they look so amazing, and I try to collect all those models. And I don't mind saying when I've got these board games things, I in my painting log, right? They normally always get shifted to the end. So when I've got nothing else to paint, which is being a tournament player and an unashamed filthy meta chaser, it's I rarely run out of things to paint, and so I often don't get to these board game miniatures to get them painted. And now look, someone's done all the work for you. How could you not kick in a few bucks for one of these tickets just for the upside of potentially winning this and not having to have that in your paint log?
Yes, dude,
good point.
Spot on.
Many upsides.
Do we want to dial up one of the our wonderful man Paul Murphy has got a bunch of canned interviews with some of the artists and contributors to the NOCF. Do you want to line up one of those now? We'll chuck it in and you guys can hear from some of the contributors who've put in so much effort, because realistically the four of us on here, we are just here to put in this production for you guys and hopefully bring this home in some style and get to that $10,000 mark by the end of this 3 hours. And please go through, jump on, grab some tickets.
Well, an hour and a half. We got an hour and a half. Actually, at this point in time, about an hour and 20 minutes probably before the end of the raffles.
Yeah, jump in, get them. There's everything to win, and every dollar you put goes straight towards these charities and straight towards supporting wonderful, wonderful foundations. But yeah, let's hear from one of the artists who actually contribute.
I don't want to put demands on production, but if we can, maybe Guy, since we've been talking about the Blackstone Fortress for Midwinter Minis.
Perfect. Yeah, we can do that. We'll go with that one.
And I said, I'm going to be normally it's I'm in a constant battle with production when I'm because in the spirit of charity, I'm gonna do what I can to placate them with the machine spirits, i.e., Mr. Joshua Diffie.
All right.
Uh,
And oh,
if Paul and I was needed to do this, something would have caught fire already. Like it's just not meant to be.
How does the internet catch fire? I don't know, but they did it.
It would. But yeah, let's hear from the Binfield Winners crew. And I hear about this Blackstone Fortress set that they contributed and the wonderful work they've done.
all right. It's lined up. Here we go.
Hey everybody, welcome to a very special segment for the Nova Open Charitable Foundation. My name is Paul, your host. I'm joined by Guy from Midwinter Winnies. Guy, man, thanks for joining me.
No problem, Paul. Hello, everyone. How you doing?
Oh man, welcome and thanks for being a part of the foundation this year. What do you think so far?
I think it's fantastic. What an amazing way to generate a bit of money, show people how generous the community is, and just generally be awesome.
What I like is it's truly global. Like, where are you right now?
I am in Colchester, in the southeast of the UK.
Southeast, I'll take that. I think I can find that on the map. I'm obviously in Atlanta, Georgia, but this is a truly global community, and it's so cool to see people coming together for a great cause.
Excellent. Exactly.
So this year in the foundation, you have a huge selection of Blackstone Fortress stuff up that people know they can follow the pedigree and progress of how these things came to be on your YouTube channel, Midwinter Winnies. If they're not familiar with it, go check it out right now. But now that stuff is available for potentially winning with the tickets on the Nova Open Charitable Foundation website. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I suppose it's one of the most fundamental things to Midwinter Minis is that was kind of how a lot of people found my channel. It was a very early kind of paint along series that I did, painting all of the models from the base game and then the expansions. And I mean, essentially every single brushstroke is almost has been sort of recorded and can be seen and watched back of how they were painted. So it's a little bit of the channel's history. Quite bizarrely, I think the total views for the whole playlist is over 2 million now. So
that's impressive.
Very weirdly, I think it's probably the second most famous set after like Games Workshop's official studio set in all of the promo photos. So yeah, what a cool chance for someone to win like a bit of the game history, but also like a bit of the channel's history, and support some very worthy causes at the same time.
Well, people came on a journey with you watching this stuff, and so I think people will hopefully appreciate being able to donate to the charities and potentially come away with this awesome thing that they've invested the time, even if it's just enjoyment, but also knowing that you enjoyed.
100%, yeah, and it's like a really amazing. The whole process was really amazing for me, to be honest, to kind of build my audience and build my channel and help people get the confidence to paint along with things, and lots of new painters who had never even tried, trying out, maybe who were interested in playing the game but didn't want to play with grey plastic. And like you say, it's that journey. It's sort of more than just the videos and just the models and even just the competition. It's sort of getting new people into the hobby, and it's just something I find really enjoyable, and it's something that still, even though I've been doing it for a long time now, well, long time in YouTube terms, I've been doing it for a long time, and have a big audience, but I don't ever take it for granted when sort of people tell me that I was the reason they picked up a paintbrush and stuff. It's amazing.
That is awesome. Sharing just your everyday like trials and the things you've learned along the way. It's nice, and I really love the way you present this stuff. So the stories. I mean, Blackstone Fortress is one of those games to where you've got the minis. The models tell they have a certain narrative, but then you actually play through, and it could be a different experience almost every time that you go through because you're still playing this kind of strategy game element to it.
Yeah, and the sort of characters, in a quite limited way, but they sort of evolve, and the more you use them, the more you realize their strengths. I played through the base game with my friend Ant, who people will know from the battle reports and stuff. But yeah, we had a really, really good fun playing it. We played right through to the end. We finished it. We opened up the secret envelope.
Oh, don't tell! No spoilers! No spoilers!
No spoilers at all. The envelope has been retucked and is back in with a little note from me. So whoever wins it will get a special surprise as well.
Oh, that's awesome. That's like a double bonus to this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Is
It's
there a
little
model
mystery,
that you just absolutely, which that stands out for you that's your favorite for painting?
It's right. It's difficult because I kind of secretly want to buy Blackstone Fortress again when I get when this goes.
Yeah,
Not all of the expansions, just the base
I'm
game.
sure it's
because
going to be
quite special.
bittersweet when
Yeah,
after it's
but
mailed off.
I was looking at all of these models and rather than thinking, I want to make them and paint them again because I've already done that. And even though there's fantastic painting tutorials available on some
Oh,
channel,
where can
I
people
can't
find
remember
that?
what it's
Yeah.
called. I was wondering, I was like looking at them, thinking what amazing sort of kit bash material they would be. I know that's almost sacrilege because some of the models are
No, they're
outstanding.
spectacular, but there's some
Yeah.
things you can only get there and in these sets, and so being able to blend them into some other things,
Yeah.
we all got that hobby spirit.
It's difficult though, isn't it? Because half of your brain is thinking like, yeah, that'd be awesome, and then the other half is like, that'd be a crime. You can't like smash these models that are supposed to be used in a game. I think to actually answer your question, I think Pius Vaughn, the flamethrower chainsaw wielding
Yeah.
space nun, is pretty awesome. I would say that's sort of top tier Warhammer in terms of
it checks off all the boxes.
Angry nun in space burning aliens and cutting them up with a chainsaw. Yeah.
Do these types of board games and skirmish games, is that what you enjoyed the most out of the hobby? Is there something that calls to you from this style of game?
I think primarily I'm a hobbyist in terms of a maker and a painter and a kit basher, I suppose. I do like playing the game. I do like playing lots of different types of games, but I think that my biggest joy and my sort of the most rewarding aspect for me in the hobby is to make and paint stuff. And especially to almost beyond that, to make things that weren't there before. So making stuff out of things that were going to go in the bin.
Yeah.
I think that's like a really cool, rewarding thing. And it's like a little challenge to yourself as well, isn't it? To actually make something useful out of essentially something that's destined for the rubbish tip.
Well, and make it unique when someone, because look, we all get that little, I guess, little spark when people come by and go, man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Making terrain. That's my secret love.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I can see there's just so many ways to enjoy this hobby. It's absolutely wonderful. And then wonderful to listen for people to see this journey and now be able to get a part of it, be a part of it through things like this Nova Open Charitable Foundation. This is the first year that you've been a part of this, right?
Yeah, I have bought a few raffle tickets in the past, but no, it's the first time that I've made something available for people to actually bid for, essentially. Well, not bid for, but yeah, buy a ticket for.
I think this will be. Have you scoped out anything yet? Is there anything that you would like to get your hands on or kick in for?
I do quite like the Chaos Space Marine Army. It's quite nice. Actually, a load of the individual models are really, really amazing. I was kind of looking through those on the launch day, and I was like, what? That's amazing. That's amazing. I'd much rather have that than my Blackstone Fortress collection.
Well, I mean, much like yourself,
yeah,
the generosity of the folks involved. I mean, it's just it's so warming to see, and then folks coming to this and participating. Look, sometimes it's just nice to kick in for the charity, and this just has the upside of maybe you can come away with some fabulous things that do have this pedigree, a story attached to it. And thank you very much for sharing it with us. Would it be okay if we came back and checked in with you? Maybe even join us for the live show when we close this thing out?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely.
Well, guys, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Please go check out the Blackstone Fortress miniatures and all the other miniatures that are available up on the site. I think you're going to find something you like.
Thanks, Paul.
Have a great day.
Watching. You too.
Can you believe it? Did you see those miniatures? That's what I'm talking about. Like, get this, get this. You want this. You're going to want to play the game. The game is absolutely fabulous. I enjoyed it. Again, it's one of those to where you can spend an evening playing with folks, and you're never going to regret that time. You're never going to regret contributing to these charities. And then if you win, you're going to really appreciate it. So, hoping that enthusiasm from Guy came through, and I think it did in the chat. And then you get to see up close those wonderful miniatures.
Well, you think about all the hours you can get out of that. Like, it literally took somebody hundreds of hours to paint those. A whole team of people, hundreds of hours to paint those miniatures. And then you could pick it up for as much as just a couple of bucks for one ticket. You could be the lucky person to walk away with it and get hundreds of hours of enjoyment out of that. Like, you can't really get that anywywhere else.
I love moving miniatures around the table. Like, part of what we do in this game is that not tactical. I guess maybe for some, maybe not for me tactical, but that tactile experience of moving the miniatures around, and they're wonderful. And it's one of those to where I like doing it no matter what we're playing with. And when you can play a game like that with these just spectacular pieces, I think it adds to the overall enjoyment of the experience. And who knows, you might convert somebody to be a Warhammer buddy when they were just a board game buddy before.
Exactly right. Now, there's one piece I want to talk about now. And this one's very close to my heart, probably very close to Tanya's heart. But this is the Catachan kernel. That is exceptionally hard to get a hold of. Like, and when I say exceptionally hard, I was incredulous at GW for how limited a release this miniature got, for how phenomenal it is. Now, for $6, you can put through a raffle ticket for this very extremely phenomenally rare Catachan kernel that is painted to a ridiculously high standard. And you can own one of kind of one of the rarest models to come out in the last 10 years.
I was gonna mine is right behind me right here. He's hiding up on one of my shelves, and I painted him. I was gonna show the contrast of this is what a normal person can paint, and then here's one that's absolutely just stunning with all this. Just look at the camo, the artistry in this figure.
But not just the camo. He's got a free-handed banner. Do you see it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Free-handed banner. It's amazing.
Is that a banner or a loincloth? I mean, I'm just.
It's not on the front.
It's not on the front. It's fair. I'm a huge fan of that model. I think that they've done a great job. Who's the artist for this one? It is Israel Sanchez. Thank you very much. Easy Painting Studios, if you want to look up his other works. He's put that in support of Fisher House. Any contributions you guys put forward there, or any posted raffle tickets there, goes directly to Fisher House. And yeah, I'm really proud and really happy that someone got such a rare miniature, painted it at such high quality, and is willing to just put it in a raffle. I think it's a great testament to him.
Look at that. I love the. Go ahead, Jay.
I really love this format that the people that are putting the time and effort into building, painting, and supplying these models get to, well, basically they pick a charity that's I guess close to heart for them, and it's quite it's quite touching that not only they're helping the community and all that, but they get to help a charity of choice as well.
Well, a lot of empowerment in the artists. What do they want to do? What are they inspired to do? And that also translates into what they're inspired to help and put their efforts towards. And so that's another way. If you see a model that interests you, click into it, see what they're all about. Check out the studios of the painters as well, if they do have one. Check out their other works, and then also see what they're wanting to support. And if it aligns with everything that you might want something, you like it, you feel the same way about the charity, then kick in. It's important to mention that every ticket, everything has the exact same odds of winning. It's they've got a great randomization way on the end. So if you get more tickets, you're basically doubling and tripling with each one that you get, in the same increment.
And do you know what you do if you do find a piece that you really connect with? You go over to the specials tab. You go over to the 2021 specials down in the 2021 summer raffles, and you see if that artist is putting up any classes. And you're like, wow, not only can I win this amazing model that they've painted, I could learn from them how they painted it and try and duplicate it myself. And what a special experience that would be.
This model, the one we were just talking about, the Catachan kernel, it just evokes it's like just such cool things about what the army's about, what the style the Catachan army is about. Like I actually play Catachans in my normal Astra Militarum army, so of course I wanted this, and if you weren't able to get it, this is another shot that you might be able to come away with it.
Yeah, and just the Predator, like just G Dub's commitment to making action heroes come to life on the, this Colonel Dylan from Predator coming to life on the battlefield. Absolutely adore it.
I like also the idea that my commanders, my Astra Militarum commanders, still like to get in there and slug it out, especially the Catachans. So the fact that there's a power fist on here, you know this guy's
Exactly.
got a mission.
Yeah.
You know that if that worst comes, let's say the hordes of orcs, the Tyrannid swarm gets past the tanks, past the platoons, and gets all the way back to this guy. He's gonna win the fight for you, and that's the story that I've got. And yeah, it's just. How cool is it? How cool is it?
I don't know. I
Spot
feel
on,
like
man.
this guy. I feel like this guy. He could probably just like kill Gaunts with just a look. You know, he just gives them like the crazy guy, and their heads just explode.
That
Yeah.
he's actually poking a gaunt to death. That's what he's doing. It's like zap.
Yeah.
Like not even gonna swing the power fist. Just gonna poke you right there and that gaunt right out of there.
Man,
Yep.
and so another one of the specials donated, lovingly, another one of the mini wargaming contributions is a lifetime silver membership. So I think that's $5 a month, or is it $10 a month for that membership? For $5, you can buy a single raffle ticket that can give you a lifetime entry in that, and I think that gives you access to the entire second half of their vault content. So for those who don't know the mini wargaming format, for every battle report that they put out, they also produce a second one that's exclusive behind their paywall. For $5, you can get a single raffle ticket that gets you a lifetime of access there. So like you pay for a month to
More
get an
than.
eternity, to get a lifetime.
It's valued at
and-
nearly $100 a year.
So it's about $10. It's about $10 or about $9 a month for that. So yeah, wow.
Another amazing thing though is I was actually just in a chat on Mini Wargaming's live stream that they said, and it was confirmed through someone asking a question in their chat, that it also gives you access to all the discount codes for other things for Silver Vault members. So if you are able to win that, you have the subscription value, but then if you want to take advantage of anything that they have a partnership with, you also get that. So kind of neat little value on top of value.
It's an absolute snowball.
Prometheus is in the chat, says, I don't even own any IG, but man, that is such an amazing model and paint job, so I'm grabbing a ticket for him. Yes. I mean, you never know when you might start one. You also might not, you might want to have it as part of your collection, just sitting on the shelf, as inspiration. Maybe you want to try to replicate that scheme and you want to see an example right up there in front of you. There's so many, there's really just an infinite number of reasons why you might want cool models in your place of residence.
Exactly right. Now,
it's also great as a display piece because of that. Because think about, similar concept to that conversation we had earlier about the Blackstone Fortress as that kind of gateway drug to 40K. I don't think we use those terms, but we'll go with it. If you've got friends over that might not really be into tabletop games as much, but then you show them effectively a Predator model, it's something they can relate to. And it's that kind of entry and getting them hooked. And then next thing you know, they're addicted to plastic.
winning hearts and minds through the medium of nostalgia. Love it.
Gear Guts
I-
Mech Shop
I
in
feel
the
like
chat.
I feel like your Catachan Colonel could also sit with your Space Marines and show them what a true hero looks like.
Yes, I agree.
Oh, y'all don't do that.
Yeah. But we could go one step further and we could talk about some custodies that Duncan Rhodes has painted for this raffle. This is the second year Duncan's contributed, isn't it? Well, what did he put in last year? Was it his knights?
Yeah, a knight. So this
Yeah.
is so the if you follow Duncan on any of his property, he likes those things with heraldry, those things with heroic stories. And in the summer raffles 2021 on the NovaOpenFoundation.org, if you go to the 2021 armies, you will see Duncan Rhodes' army, the Warhammer 40K Adeptus Custodes, and click into that. And hearing him talk about this an amazing example of what an army can be, but he talks about also how he painted it. And that's one of the cool things. If you ever wanted to get one of these things and then add to it, it's accessible. You can do it. Now, granted, these look phenomenal, but you could also make your next set look phenomenal. Although you might not need to. Every Custodes is an army of one. And so when you're playing them on the tabletop, you don't need many of them. This is like a force you could stick on the table and play with.
I want this.
Yeah.
I want this so bad. I bought so many tickets for this.
And I don't blame you. I mean, just owning something painted by Duncan Rhodes is pretty legendary in and of itself, isn't it?
Yeah, because I actually have a small patrol of custodes in my imperial army that I play competitively, poorly.
I love all these quotes.
But it would be so cool to like put it on the table at a tournament and be like, the Duncan, he painted that.
Yeah, two thin coats on each and every one of these.
That's right.
No more, no less.
Well, but painters like Duncan have made the hobby, this area of the hobby, accessible to so many folks, and that's one of the greatest things about kind of the video generation that we're in, is all these tutorials and things. And so where you might not have felt like you could jump into it, you don't know how to make these products do what you want them to do, and then folks like Duncan and all the painting tutorials you can find, especially on the Games Workshop YouTube channel, where they walk you through the steps of how to get some of these effects on your table, things that you might not have thought were possible because you didn't know where to start. And I actually encounter that with buddies. They go, I don't even know where to start painting. I'm afraid I'm going to mess my models up. And with paint, you actually never will mess them up. You just got to start somewhere. And then you start how to learn to use the products and that kind of stuff. And then you see results like this, like these things, like spectacular examples of that exact process with the Adeptus Custodes and other things like this. But this, and we may even be able to queue up a chat with Duncan, if we can, Mr. Diffie. But he talks a little bit about the process of how to get this exact look on your tabletop.
Well,
Yeah, and
I will definitely give it a shot if I don't win, but I do really still want to win it.
Yeah. Well, you get a jump start, right? It's a jump start on maybe a whole another collection.
well, it's only like 12 miniatures, but for Custodes, that's like you only need to add like 10 more miniatures, and you've got an army.
Well, you say that, and I completely agree with you. But we play largely 2,000 points in our grand tournament armies. But there's lots of different ways to experience this game. What we've got kill team, we've got combat
Yeah,
patrol.
spot
There's
on.
all types of ways to do this, and this is one of those things to where you can put this on the table and play in different types of scenarios, different things to see. Hey, you may have always been really interested in Custodes, but you just didn't take the plunge and get them on the table yet. This is one way you can do that. And I know lots of people that play. I'll tell you, Combat Patrol at 500 points is a radically different game. And you can play 4 or 5 games in the span it would take you to play one 2,000 point game.
Dude, spot on. Not it's surprising at all. And the metrics all change a lot when you start scaling things down. A lot of the the balance between MSU and Horde and all those things, they change drastically. Like all of a sudden a Horde gets so much more power because especially because you're playing on a smaller table. But are we going to transition to go to that Duncan's Round interview and hear from the man himself?
I'll go one more step forward. I've played in a Combat Patrol tournament recently, and I felt each game gave me a very similar experience to the 2,000 point game. But what I will say, when games are going great, my opponent only had to hang in there for about 45 minutes. If games were going, maybe the other way for me, I only had to hang in there for about 45 minutes. But at the end of it, I felt like I'd played. I got the full Warhammer 40,000 experience, even at those other point levels. And so, that's one of those things that I'm on the lookout for now is different ways to use my models that I already have.
Spot on, dude. Yeah, try and get all the mileage you can, of course. We're going to hit that interview now, Mr. Diffie.
Ready when you are.
Let's
Let's
do
lock-
it. Hey,
let's lock in.
58 minutes left in the raffles. So please go check out the website. Get a couple tickets if you haven't already. We only got about a little bit less than an hour left before these close out, and you will not have an opportunity to do that after that clock reaches zero. So get in there, check it out. You find something you want, get a ticket or two if you can. Look, and if you don't have the means to do it, I completely understand that right now. It's no hard push. Tell somebody about it.
Share
Maybe
it.
they do. Have them go check it out.
Yeah, share it everywhere. Share it high, share it low. You know, this is such a phenomenal cause. Let's hit Mr. Duncan Rhodes and hear from one of the
See you on the other
legends of our
side.
community.
Hey, thanks for joining me on this preview for some things that are coming up with the Nova Open Charitable Foundation. My name is Paul Murphy, and I'm joined by the iconic Duncan Rhodes. Duncan, welcome.
Hello, everybody. Hello, thank you very much. It's good to see you.
Yeah,
how you
man, I'm
doing?
doing great, and it's been a while, man. Thanks for taking the time with us. I mean, looks like things are rocking and rolling with your academy. You want to tell me what you've been up to these days?
Oh, it's at the moment, things have been super busy because we've announced that we're making a paint range, and these are all paints that are like developed from the ground up, and they're all colors chosen by me, and everything's got to get the green light from me using them. So most of my time, my own private hobby time, has actually been using these paints on all sorts of random figures. So
Dude, that's
I've not
exciting,
really been
man. I can't
painting
wait to hear
artists.
more about that. But we're here to talk about these
It's
custodes
yeah.
that you've painted. This
Mhm.
custode force. How'd you get the color? The gold's so bright, man. This is shining. As they know, they are exemplar of the Imperium, but they're also exemplary figures, as you've seen, or what we can see that you've done.
Oh, absolutely. Well, yeah, I got them. So actually, I started painting them way back when I was working for Warhammer TV, and we did a video on painting a Custodes miniature, and it was so. I mean, you can see all the magic there. It's basically it's Retributor armor. It's like
That is one of
layered
my
up and
favorite
everything.
golds. It might even be my
Yeah,
current
man.
favorite gold.
Oh, it's a beautiful paint. It really is. And once you hit it with some Liberator Gold as well, you can get a really beautiful shine on it. And these were when we did the video for it, I just really enjoyed it. So I ended up just painting a few more. And there was one I painted previous to it, which was my test model, which actually is the commander of this force. So there's one of the regular Custodes sort of posers, but he's got a cloak and everything. He's got his guardian spear held upright and stuff. So he's like the leader of them. And yeah, he was the test model I did for that painting video. So everything derives from him. And I just had such a good time with it. I ended up just doing some more. And there's something that they're like. I can remember, like at the time when we saw these kits for the first time, when they were in this Horus Heresy box set, and we were all saying, "Can you imagine going back to yourself like 5-10 years ago? And you're working the retail chain. One day is going to be Plastic Adeptus Custodes. You would have thought we were mad."
Well, you'd also thought they maybe didn't have it was like the long coats and no shirts and just the spear. They're from that
Oh,
art. Remember
yes,
that?
the old
They've
style,
come they've
yeah,
come a
with all that
long way.
hulking
And
out.
but I love it. You're right. These kits, they're basically imagination made manifest. It's
They are. They are.
spectacular. And you like the knightly stuff, right? So
Oh, yeah.
did you play into that with these as well?
Well, I played into the theme of how these are like, the very best soldiers of what you could possibly have. So I just really went into trying to make them as clean and sharp as I could. So it wasn't really like mass producing figures or anything. When it comes down to the individual heraldry, that's really displayed on. There's one of the shoulder pauldrons. It's like different on each guy, and on that, it's again, it's just all gold, so it's about as opulent as you can get. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I also had a lot of fun with the like the red leathers that they've got, because it's not like bright red, because you keep that for all the cloaks and the plumes and things. But for the leather, it's Doomball brown, I believe. But when you highlight it with red, it's quite a curious thing.
Oh wow.
When you just have Doomball brown on its own, it's brown, right? But when you highlight it with red, it suddenly looks red. So it's like a different sort of shift on the tone compared to all the other reds that appear on it. So yeah, I
I
had a
do
blast.
think that's actually one of the marks of like true artists is how they are able to blend those colors together, and especially browns. I mean, I know I get kind of in I don't want to say a rut, but it's like I've got my go-tos. I know this is my go-to leather color and that kind of stuff. And you just kind of blew my mind talking about highlighting Doombull brown with red. Who does that?
Yeah, it's just something to try. And I remember looking at the drawings and stuff for the artwork on the box and things, trying to deduce that into the video we were doing, and I just experimented with that, and it worked. I was like, oh, brilliant! All right, we'll do that.
Well, it's absolutely awesome for you to be part of the Nova Open Charitable Foundation, and then giving some time, putting these stuff into the figures, and then sending this stuff, because this is something now for just a ticket, a few bucks to get in, is supporting a great cause, and they can come away with this. I mean, really spectacularly painted force. What's it like being a part of or being and contributing to the foundation?
Oh, I think it's I don't know. It's hard to. It kind of leads into a lot of like the sort of strange attention I get for doing this job of showing people how to paint the toys, right? Like I can never quite get my head around it, and I keep a sort of distance, I suppose, from it because I don't want it to go to my head, right? But I think when it comes to Nova, I'm just happy that I can do something to help a good cause. Like it's sort of a magical thing that I can paint something and it's able to then to generate funds to help good causes. I think it's a very lucky position. It's kind of like how I view it. I'm just happy to help, I suppose, and I like that it's so like in recent years, I've been sending things that are like part of my personal collections. Those custodians are an army I painted for myself to use myself because I liked them. So I feel then there's a sort of like a magical thing about them, like a certain
Yep.
attachment to them. So at least I hope people get that.
I mean, it looks
when they
like
see
it.
the
I mean,
miniatures.
there's some heart and soul in these.
Yeah. Well, I can remember things about them, like the the Contemptor Dreadnought, for example. That's a model I can remember when I bought it. I was working on an open day at Warhammer World, and it was quite a long day. And I was doing some like examples of painting stuff. And at the end of the day, I was like pretty tired, and I was like, oh, I've worked really hard today. I feel like I'm going to reward myself. So I went over to the Forge World store and bought the parts for it. And I knew kind of like a thought in my mind as to how. So there's like sort of I hadn't quite decided whether I was going Heresy or 40k with these Custodes, but I'd seen in the Custodes thing they could have the Venerable Dreadnought. And I was like, well, I don't just want to use the regular plastic one. I want to do something special. So I bought the resin, there's like they've got
Yep.
swords and things.
Oh, they're so
that's
so
the Heresy.
impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd seen that the Power Fist as a version of it where it's got kind of like talons, like
Yeah.
claws, and I thought, yeah, well, that's feels custodiish, right? Because in all the old artwork they'd have these like eagle talon claws on the Power Fist, so it's like, all right, so I'll buy that, and I'll buy the the Contempt, the Custodian Contempt. Not right. I need another gun for it. Well, I've got literally no anti-tank in this army, so I suppose it ought to be a multi-melter. All right, so I'll get that too. And we're getting the pieces and going home. And like as I mentioned, I was quite tired after this day because it was a long day and I'd done a lot of work and stuff, talked to a lot of people. And I was just sat. I had a bath. I was sat in my pajamas and I was having a pizza for dinner. And I had a movie on TV and I was just sticking this thing together as I was watching it. And I was all chilled out. I can remember specifically doing all those things, and then getting the miniature, and then I took it into work. I sprayed it gold, took it into work, and I was painting it in my lunch breaks until it came to the completed miniature. And then I took it into its first game, and it got blown to pieces immediately. So.
Well, hey, that is the way. I think anyone who's played this game long enough understands exactly that feeling. Did you name this thing? Did do any of these? I mean, I know they all have 1,000 names, but did you apply any of them to these?
I only actually attached a name to the commander, so it was kind of like a running joke. So back when I used to work in Games Workshop retail, all the staff had their own commander, and I had a Space Marine captain called Brother Captain Rhodes, and everyone was saying, "Oh, it doesn't sound Roman enough. What about Rhodeses, Rhodocles?" And then a kid comes out, "What about Rodiculus?" And we were like, "Yes." So there you are, Shield Captain Rodiculus. That was the name of the commander.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. So really, this thing is up, and I know that some people approach this in different ways. It's like, I want to get something specific, or I've got X amount of disposable that I can put into these for a good cause. And so I really encourage people to check out what you've got. If they're a fan of yours, if they're a fan of the Custodes, if they're a fan of amazing miniatures, you want to check these out. Or if you just like looking at them, like go and check it, just how impressive these figures are.
Oh, it's lovely seeing all the light shining off their armor, isn't it? They always really attract attention on the battlefield. And if whoever wins them, they if they want to expand the army, they're literally painted like we did with the painting video on Warhammer TV. So you know exactly what to do if you want to paint more miniatures.
That's the best, and I don't mind telling you, I like the way that you describe this paint because it seems attainable. It seems like something that one can do. Inevitably, you're going to want to maybe add something, or do you just feel like something else? You want a second Ridiculous Junior,
Mm.
or something you want to throw on your list, and you're going to be able to go and figure out how to do that. And I think, hopefully, you've got still some avenues where people can reach out and experience that if they need a little bit of a refresher on that stuff.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And it doesn't really matter what the troop type is, whether it's like a large Terminators or you're going for the jet bikes or anything like that. It all can be painted in the same kind of way. And in fact, the Alaris Terminators were one unit that I was going to add, and that started out with a painting video that got cancelled halfway through because we had to run off and do something else. So there was like a part painted one, but yeah, unfortunately, I got around to adding the new unit or two to it. But I mean, that army is like pure murder. Like, they will wreck
This force will
anything.
go a long way, guys. So go ahead and check it out. And Duncan, again, thanks again for being part of this and contributing some time and some models. I look forward to speaking with you again in the future. But until then, hey, as we lead up to this, our event we're going to have at the close of this thing, please go and check out the website. Look at all the stuff, especially look at the stuff from Duncan. Duncan, it's been a pleasure.
You're very welcome.
Have a good one. Did you see that? Did you see those miniatures? I mean, up close. The Nova Open Charitable Foundation, they do all the video of the miniatures. They do all the photography and stuff to really bring them to light. But seeing them up close on that the round table and that kind of stuff, I told you that's attainable. Like, you can do that. And so if you get this force and want to add to it, it's well within reach.
Absolutely. There's some, man, we don't have, even though we've got like 3 hours, we don't have time to do justice to so many of the miniatures that have been lovingly donated to this cause. But what I do want to draw our attention to is a bust. This is a Blood Raven bust, which hopefully opens up a little bit more, of the feelsies for people who've played and fallen in love with the video game series. But yeah, this one is done by the artist Oscar Lars.
47 minutes left in the raffles, 46 and 58. And Oscar is just a great dude. Like, I talk to him, I follow him on Twitter. I see his work in progress, and just as a stellar artist.
Exactly right. Now, we do, when you think about a display piece, like, what could be cooler than just having like your office, at home just has like a Blood Raven bust sitting in the corner. I feel like it's just a cool thing to own. On top of that, this thing is immaculately painted. I look at some of the damage and the weathering and how the expression on the guy's face, on the Stardy's face, the scar running through his left eye. I just think it's a phenomenally painted piece.
Talking about art, I mean, look at the stuff. It's like everything looks like it's a photograph. Like, this does not look like it was painted by mortals. That's
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's really interesting. I watched a little bit of the someone shared a few stills with me of the Warhammer Plus app and the painting tutorial that was done on that, the masterclass, and how in painting faces they paint different gradients underneath the skin tones to denote, underneath the cheekbones you'll put a little bit of blue or green even, and then below that you'll put either yellows and different tones. And this guy looks like he's almost got a black eye. There's that much detail done into the flesh and into the face. It's astounding.
Getting into that concept of like how to layer colors, how to use the colors, that's where some of these artists really shine. They know the techniques, but then also the talent to bring it all to life, and you can see that in pieces like this. And I love the details that you pointed out, and it goes into the fact that this looks like it's been through 1,000 battles. It looks like what you might think a Space Marine has been through the campaigns, the journey. You can see it with almost every, I was going to say every brushstroke, but I can't even see any brushstrokes in this because it looks like it's photorealistic. But you can see it with every nick, every scar, every service stud. It's all there. This tells a story with this miniature.
Spot on. There's so much to get into, and I think that there is something here for everybody. Just in the single model section, there's literally something for everybody. We've got a Chaos Knight, we've got an Imperium Knight, we've got a bunch of Sisters of Battle miniatures, we've got some Giants from Fantasy, we've got some models from different obscure games, we've got an Abaddon, like got a Skink, a Lizardman.
In the single model section here, I mean, sometimes your character models, like I know that this is something that I kind of struggled with when I was originally getting into painting, and this side of it is that I would get my rank and file, the core of my army. I would get that done to a standard that I was that I loved, and I wanted to make my character models pop. And so when I was starting to paint character models for the first time, or the leaders, the HQs, the elites, I really wanted them to shine. And so I wanted to put more effort into them. And gives you an opportunity to do that. You can get these centerpiece models in this raffle that will stand up. They'll do what they're supposed to next to your own force if you happen to have an existing force for this kind of stuff. People walk by and they will first be drawn into this spectacular thing, and then I'm like, you know what? This whole army, it gels together. It looks awesome.
I can't
Yeah.
really explain why, but I really want the treasure dragon.
It's so
Reaper
cute.
It's Bowler.
Well, let's talk about this.
Love
It's
it.
like, one, you don't have to have a good reason. If you just want it, get a ticket or two. But these miniatures, especially like tabletop role playing games, which people play, all more than they ever have in the past, which is really cool. I really like how the geeks and the nerds are taking over and invading the public, the pop culture. But these things can also be used in games like that. Like, oh, you don't play Flesh Eater Courts? Well, guess what? You don't have to. What you have now is the villain at the end of the dungeon that you get to whip out on the table and really
on.
shock your friends. Same with the mountain giant. The same with the forest dragon. Heck, even Abaddon, if you're playing one of those games. I think pretty much if your game ends where you're running into Abaddon, your game is probably over.
Your GM, do not
Uh,
play with that GM again.
yeah, your game master, you have done something. You did not bring the required 12-pack of their favorite drink. You did not bring their favorite chips, and now you have to face Abaddon the Despoiler.
Yeah.
So
Guaranteed
I don't.
TPK.
I hate that I've injected that out there, but it's still possible. That's one of I think the upsides of getting some of these single models. If you were curious as to what your reason would be, not that you have to have a great reason, but here you go.
As a painter, could we just look at Terra the Silent? She's a Reaper model for Dungeons and Dragons or whatever your role playing game is. There's one particular thing on that model that, like, I am a developing painter. I look at it and I'm just like, how did they do that?
Which
This
model
model
was it, sorry?
has. She's a Reaper model, Terra the Silent. She's like a thief. She's brown. She's in single models.
Beautiful
find-
sculpt.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
look at that Baroque on the inside of her cape.
Yes.
Holy moly!
I didn't even notice it until you pointed it out, but wow, that is some serious freehand.
How is this ticket only $6 for this model? Like, and it's not only that, like painting a dark color like her dark leather armor is very, very difficult to give it depth. Normally when you paint dark things like that, it just ends up looking a little bit flat, but she is painted spectacularly. I might have to buy one of those.
Whoa, give it up
Something.
to Rhonda Bender. I mean, Reaper model, to be able to pull this, all of what you just mentioned in a Reaper model, the eyes. I mean, this is astounding. I agree. Yes. Let me go. Add to cart.
Yeah, no,
Well,
me as
so-
well. Add to cart.
And if you are a everybody's got their. I've got like this little box that I take with me everywhere. It's got some of the first models I ever purchased in it. It's got it's like a first release Plague Marine that I tried to clumsily stick a jump pack to that didn't quite fit. It's got an old metal Juggernaut, that single pose metal Juggernaut. It's got an old metal Great Unclean one. I keep it there to fight off intruders because it's that heavy.
Oh, the
what I-
corn juggernaut? Is it the
Yeah, the
Which-
original corn
which-
Juggernaut.
Original, like the one that's like almost the size of a little dog, or like the
Yes.
brick one?
The one that's just it's just staunch. It's like the most undynamic looking model ever. It looks like a statue.
Yeah, that'd be
It's
the
big enough to put a dude.
I love it. It's so beef though.
Yeah, But reading the synopsis for Tara the Silent, I will read this out to you guys. It's a limited edition model that released as part of the Reaper Miniatures 20th anniversary celebration in 2017. This figure is one of the master casts, guys, of the first run of the mold. It was painted as the catalog figure for the website and promotional materials and was intended to become part of the Reaper Miniatures studio collection. I ended up painting another copy for Reaper in a completely different style. So this is a rare opportunity to own a Reaper studio figure. This is a one of a kind, guys. This is a first press mold of this model, and it's a piece of history. And so for $6, you could have a one of a kind, like a first press run of a 20th anniversary model. That's never going to come around again.
True. That even more of an inspiration to add to cart. And well, we were just talking about the tabletop role-playing games. I mean, this is one of those to where, look, people, they bring their miniatures and they are the avatar. They are the 3D avatar for the games. And when you can just slide out something this phenomenal, you're going to impress your friends.
Exactly
if I win
right.
this, it's going to be my character in all of my D&D campaigns
Every
forever.
D&D.
No matter
Oh,
what, you're a paladin, you're a necromancer,
Female rogue.
Yeah.
Yep.
What are you going to be this time, Tanya? Female rogue.
That's right. Tara the Silent. That's what. No matter what, doing what they do.
Well, she's
Oh,
Dara
man.
the Silent this time.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, that cloak is out of control.
My eyes bugged out of my head as soon as you pointed it out.
And it's subtle. You don't really notice it when you sort of like scroll through. That's why I think it's really great for everybody to actually like click on these and look at all the details. So you might miss them on the first pass.
So this raffle supports Breast Cancer Research Foundation, which it's such an important charity. This is one of those things that touches a lot of people or have touched. I mean, we probably all know someone that or know of someone or know somebody who knows somebody who's been affected by this. And so I don't want to not talk about the important work that the breast cancer research does, and that everything matters. That's a long-term battle that the only way that we're going to be able to eventually defeat it is through work like this. And so seeing charities like this, opportunities like this to contribute with the upside of potentially maybe coming away with an amazing miniature, this is just a perfect opportunity to help out in something like this.
Yeah, spot on. I have another miniature I'd like to draw people's attention to. This is Soul Piercer, Knight Tyrant of House Divine. So this is a Renegade Knight Castellan, or I don't know what that's called for Renegade Knights. Is it a Tyrant? It's a Tyrant. It's got to be Tyrant.
The Tyrant?
Yeah, Knight Tyrant, because it's in the title. It's late. It's 2 a.m.
I was guessing as well, so they were.
This is one of the largest models that G-Dubs produces, and the artist for this has put a howdah on the top of this model with like a cadre of characters sitting upon it. So this is a Slaanesh dedicated Night House Divine, who would have thought? And it's got a bunch of what looks to be like Slaaneshi heralds and cultists or, demagogues, standing in the pulpits on this howdah, like speaking down from upon high. I think it's a phenomenally well put together piece, and I think it's really, really great. Has he even put? No, sorry, I shouldn't say he. It is Dave Taylor is the artist. Have they put hoofs instead of feet on the bottom of the model? Are they actually hoofed legs?
Those are. It's either on platforms or it's an ungulate.
I wish it's on platforms. It's House Divine after all.
They do look like
Is
hooves.
that a Sister of Battle chained to the front of this thing?
It is. Yes.
Amazing. Yes. I love these details.
Yeah, this is a kit bash. Like, I mean, I guess we can call this it's a kit bash or a conversion, but it's got so many things built into this. Like, to make this model alone, let me just see if I can add up the kit dollars. So that is Celestine with that. That's the Slaanesh thing from Age of Sigmar. That's the carriage with the guy on the back. So we're talking like $100, maybe more, $150 plus the knight itself. You're looking at probably $500 just in model parts on this thing, and then the incredible, what you like Adam just pointed out with the different conversions and things on there, the time invested in it, and then I mean, I think it would be unfair to call this just marbling on the miniature.
It's like, so you and I, and I suppose Tanya and Josh, we no stranger to effects like this. Me and Paul looked at this a couple of days ago, and I almost thought this is marbling to the point of making the carapace looked cracked, and I thought it was a really unique effect that you don't see very often. The marbling looks like it's deep ravines in the actual, like, the armor plating, and it's a really unique effect. It's almost like Phantom of the Opera, like the cracked face, or the imperfections placed upon the armor here, that would make it such a good counterpoint into kind of Slaneshi Emperor's Children kind of striving for perfection. I actually really think it's quite clever.
Jay says, look at it in chat, it's got the shocked face, and the mini looks great. Yes, it does. And the fact that you can get or potentially get this for, what is it, $7 a ticket? How could you not want to throw in that? Because this is one of those things. Every knight can look different in your army, and if you're playing heretical knights.
Can we just also talk about the fact that this is a Dave Taylor miniature, and he's kind of like the master of kit bashes. Really, he's kind of legendary.
Yeah.
And like, this, not only is this a spectacular piece to own, but like, it's a Dave Taylor piece. There are certain people in the community that if you said, like, hey, Dave Taylor made this, they would be like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe that you own that, right?
That's a fabulous point. I mean, if you go back even like in the White Dwarfs, some of the original just conversion kit bashes for things like Astra Militarum armies, those came from Dave Taylor a long time ago, and it's carried forward. You can see skill on skill getting built up over the time. And then this raffle supports Doctors Without Borders, like I was mentioning. So if there's a specific charity that speaks to you, and you want to put some dollars directly to that, this is one of those ways you can get a few dollars to Doctors Without Borders, and own a Dave Taylor piece maybe at the end of it.
Exactly right. And you were pricing this up before. I've just been clicking around looking at some even more pieces. There's a Tech Priest Manipulus, I believe, and also a Cataphren Servitor. Now Cataphren Servitor comes in a pack of 3, so he's bought a pack of 3 for a single like torso to put upon this pulpit. I just love some of the extra stories that's been added here. I
love that creativity. Like there's some of the world-class painters and modelers out there that they just like get a bin, throw all these parts into it, rummage around to get what they want, and truly make something unique. And this is one of those things that is unique. It's unique. It's
a one of a kind. This is a literal one of a kind. The guy sitting reclining in the back of the throne on top is actually the pilot, the original Manipulus for the Princeps for this knight, but through devotion to Slanesh, he's become so corpulent, can no longer fit into the throne inside his own knight. And that's the story of this piece. It's phenomenal.
I just realized there's veins of gold in the marble.
Well, I mean, of course there are, right?
Of course. I mean, as if you do it any other way.
Details.
I can't tell. Is that your Vrain's headdress there? I can't tell. I don't know if that's on the original Slaneshi model or not, but it looks. Even if it is originally Slaneshi, like, okay, there's some correlation there. There's a lot to unpack in this model. A lot of lore represented here. A lot of potential new lore. People to go out and forge their own stories. That's actually okay. We have 30 minutes left. Can we bring up the segment with Mini War Gaming Dave to talk about the Crimson Hunters, because I would really like to talk about that army, because it really is one of the, like, this is an example within an example of what the Nova Open Charitable Foundation is all about, and there is some remarkable lore behind the Crimson Hunters Chaos Space Marines army. That's I think it'd be neat if you were to get this to be able to continue that story forward, whether that be through your games
Yeah.
of match play, through your tournament games, or through Crusade and stuff. But this is all the artists that contributed to this Crimson Hunters Warhammer 40K Chaos Space Marines army that's up there. It's the first section in the armies section for the 2021 raffles. And I sat down and talked with Mini Warrior Gaming Dave about this, and it's a cool story, and his enthusiasm really shines through with it. So I'm hoping that you can kind of hear his story, and that inspires you to maybe get a ticket or two if the army itself didn't already do that.
Well, just
Yeah,
before
man,
we
and
just before we jump across, it is worth just reminding people that, especially the big models, but others as well. The Knight comes with its own foam KR case.
yes,
So
so to see is
importantly, because I mean that model is massive, transporting it would be difficult, but KR make it easy.
So 29 minutes left in the live raffle. So while you're listening to this with Dave, go and follow along if you can on the website. Get a ticket or two. You're gonna kick yourself if you didn't try for some of these things. So I really think that's the case once you see them. So don't let our words or the words we talk about with Dave, or you'll see some in the video, be the only thing that you're experiencing. Go to the website and check it out.
please do.
See you on the other side.
Welcome to a special segment for the Nova Open Charitable Foundation. My name is Paul Murphy. I am joined by Dave Norquist. Dave, how are you doing today?
I am very, very good. Thank you very much for inviting me on this interview podcast. You are a good person who likes people. Obviously, you like skulls as well.
Our interdimensionary correspondent here. Thank you for joining us, man. Look, I'm so happy to have you part of this, and always looking for an opportunity to speak with you. And now we get to talk about something near and dear to you, and that is chaos.
Absolutely. I'm always happy to talk about chaos.
So look, people can go and follow along with what we're talking about right now. We're going to be talking a lot about the Crimson Hunter Army that's up in the Nova Open Charitable Foundation raffles right now, which is it's a collaborative event, a cooperative event between lots of painters, lots of contributors, and you're one of those.
I am, yes. I'm lucky enough to be one of the one of the people that have contributed to this army. And there's 12 very talented people that have done it. And Jawa Ball is the spearheading it up. And so it's very exciting. And it's always happy
I-
because, again, it's corn, right? So I'm happy about
It, look, it takes a lot of people to put these things together, and you actually contributed something very near and dear to your heart. You want to talk about
it.
that?
This is true, yes. So I contributed my Karn the Betrayer. That I've been using for a number of years, and it was masterfully painted by a guy named Jordan Powell, and it fantastically painted. And I figured, you know what, I'm going to contribute this. It's the paint job is much better than what I would do, and it's something that means something to me. And I think that would mean more to the contribution of this, of the army, and of this model. And so it's the one that I have been using. That's a part of the unique color scheme that I have for my own personal World Eaters army. And so he is now going to find his new home with the lucky raffle winner for this army.
I love that. So the charitable foundation is such near and dear to people's hearts, and we can contribute in many different ways. And it is cool that you've, because look, we all know, people especially follow your content. We know how much chaos and that stuff means to you. So to let go with even just a piece of it to eventually go and travel on to the next lucky recipient of that, spreading chaos. I don't know how am I making that sound good? How does it feel good?
Hey, I don't disagree with the words that you're saying. I mean, it's all good, man. Like you're speaking truth in my ears.
I really, and I don't want to draw attention to what is behind you right now, but did you put that Blood Angel helmet on there just to taunt me?
I mean, No, but that sounds like a good narrative, so I'll go along with it.
Well, look, this is what bringing folks together and talk about the stuff that we know that we love. This is another thing that the community can do, and it's cool to see all the community come together for this project. Now, this project is not painted in your traditional corn scheme, I don't think, really. So tell me a little bit about that, because I know you had a big hand in at least that part, maybe the narrative.
Well, I had a hand in the narrative for sure because I made the narrative backstory for the army itself. In terms of the color scheme, I mean that was really a collaborative effort by the artists who uh, worked very well together, and I was part of the email chain and the communications back and forth. So there was a lot of synchronization of that, and so it was wonderful to watch them do that and to figure all that out. And again, props to Java Balls for spearheading it and to lead the whole thing and to get everything moving. So super cool to be a part of it.
And there is some amazing contributors to this, and you'll see it's actually a pretty sizable force as well. And we've got folks, of course, like Java Balls, Brent from Gerbertown, folks, Evan, Evan Slagle, known painter, friend of mine. Like there's Brian Mull, another friend of mine, great painter. Like there's all kind of people have built into this. And so tell me a little bit about that lore that they've gotten behind, and that we see manifested in these models.
Okay, so I was thinking up this idea of this World Eaters army or a splinter force from a World Eaters army led by a Lord Discordant. And so I thought it'd be cool if, because typically it's infantry and it's close combat, right? And so I thought it'd be cool if there was like demon engines, heavy, and then also in addition to that there was the infantry, of course, because you can't really have a corn army without the infantry. And so Gorak Crimson Hunter is the name of the Lord Discordant HQ of the army, and he was once a feared Chaos Space Marine Lord Discordant, and he was vying for Khorne's ascension, and he had a reputation for sowing seeds of disruption in vulnerable machine spirits. So he kind of took advantage of that, and he's like, okay, this is kind of a weaker spirit, so I'm going to go in there and bully it into submission. But now he is he's kind of a dispossessed shell of shame. You can call it that, right? Because he's like,
Oh wow, okay.
yeah, and so before his days of redemption, we'll call it, okay. So the Great Rift made Planetfall very easy for Gorak to kind of go wherever he wanted, and he fell on this backwater world, this feral world called Blackwater, and his timing couldn't be worse because that's the exact same time that the neophytes were being recruited into the Crimson Fists, and they have this annual tradition called the Festival of the Blooded Fist, and so that's where they recruit their initiates, right? And so he was expecting to easily reap souls for Khorne, and he was blindsided by the Space Marines and retreated deep into the cavernous mountain pass with a few remaining Mauler fiends and Khorne berserkers that he mustered, and they managed to run away. So this area, which is now named Gorak's Pass, is home to a dense pocket of warp energy that engulfs his warband in what feels like decades. And it's here that he has whispers from the warp that impart knowledge to him regarding the Maw Blade. It's a mysterious artifact of unspoken power. And so this lore actually fits within the mini wargaming lore that we've created
I'm loving this.
with their narrative
Loving it.
campaigns as well, right? So with this newfound knowledge, his soul is invigorated, right, with a burning lust for glory, plus an acute desire for vengeance, sought against the Crimson Fist. So that's his sworn enemy, the Crimson Fist, and ultimately, whose untimely encounter thwarted his plans for eternal ascension and demonhood, because that's really what he wants, right? Can you imagine this awesome demon Lord Discordant? Would be amazing. Can you imagine the converted model? That'd be
No,
insane.
I'm not a heretic. I do not imagine this stuff. I don't.
Not yet. But okay, so to his fortune, Blackwater is home to remnant orc war bands, and who were once part of a great war that threatened the Crimson Fists. And so Skullbrag Steel Splinter, that's the name of my war boss for my Khorne orc army that I've converted up. He is the mad mega bully.
There is a theme here. There's actually multiple themes that weave together, and
Yeah, it's funny how it happens in a chaotic, organic kind of way. It all fits together, right? So he's the mad mega bully of the fish folk, and he leads his orc warband into Gorak's Pass, and he looks for loot and riches and is intercepted by the Lord Discordant himself, right? And so instead of the unexpected confrontation, which would undoubtedly end in the orc's demise, Gorak proposes another option for Skullbreak. He says to him, "All right, find the Maw Blade, bring it to me, and I'll pay you an immense teeth in riches and loot in the process."
Speaking his
He's
language.
speaking his language, right? And so Skullbreak accepts his contract and journeys off. And so that's Skullbreak's mission. He's out there doing this. Well, Gorak is still in this mountain pass waiting for this war boss to get the Maw Blade for him. And so
Dude,
that's the beginnings of the lore.
that's pretty cool and deep, and lots of opportunity there. Are you looking forward to somebody maybe picking this up and carrying forward that story?
Hey, if that happened, then absolutely that'd be wonderful. I had a recent discussion with Quipster about this, and he's a narrative-minded soul, so he had a lot of kind of splinter thoughts come from this, and so I certainly welcome any narrative ideas that could splinter off from this.
Oh, that's awesome. What was it like seeing all these miniatures come to life? I mean, so some of these, obviously, you've got some thoughts on the characters. They lived in your head a little bit, and now they're on the table. They're waiting to be moved around and played and interact with other models,
That's
other characters.
that's a story in and of itself, man. Like that was a pretty cool. It was neat seeing it all come together. Jawa Balls asked me at the beginning. He's like, "All right, so I was thinking about doing an army for this. I'm spearheading this up. I'm gonna talk to Dave. Dave, what should we do? What army?" And automatically, without hesitation, I said, "World Eaters." So that was the first response, just like without even thinking. In fact,
Again, I'm not shocked here, and I don't think anybody listening is going to be shocked, but it's still incredibly cool.
yeah, and I was really, I felt really good about him asking me, and I was very, humbled by that, and so it kind of just spawned from there, and then seeing all these people work together and seeing it be built is really incredible. It's really cool to be a part of that too. This is my first time being a part of a big project like this, and that's ultimately going for a good cause.
I will say, year on year, people coming together and doing this kind of stuff, it's very rewarding, and everyone seems to be kind of driven and mission driven to create these things to allow people to get some raffle tickets, where there's only one winner, but we can all be a part of this. It doesn't take much to actually just get in on it, and you're really supporting some great missions and charities out there, which is where this is really all about. We get somebody at the end of this, we'll get to come away with one of these cool things at the end, but it really is the journey in supporting all these works. It's really happy to see you a part of it this year.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and awesome. Again, like I'd love to be a part of it again if the opportunity affords itself. And it'd be cool to see whoever wins, whoever ends up winning the army, seeing it manifested on the tabletop with pictures and tags and social media posts, and see what it does, what battles. It'd be cool if it was part of a crusade campaign too, and kind of see the journey there and see the continuation of the story.
Man, that's awesome. Well, we're going towards as we get into the half of this raffle period for the summer raffles. We're actually going to do a 3-hour live stream that coincides with the very end of this. We might even announce some winners in there. Maybe this would be one of the things we can do. That's going to be very exciting. Maybe if you're all right, I can check in with you again in between now and then, or maybe even the day of. Not to
100%,
put you on
man.
the spot, but
100%, yes.
love to talk to you again about this, and especially as get people excited for these things, because it truly is magnificent.
Agreed. 100% agree.
Well, Dave, man, thanks for taking the time, and have a great rest of your day.
Always a pleasure, man. Thank you.
Yet another spectacular army. I mean, look at that. All the different artists, you saw them on the screen, the people that contributed to that. I love that, the spirit of everyone coming together, being organized. Java Balls, organizing this in the background. This is a huge amount of effort, getting that consistency across the army itself. I don't know if you noticed, but Brent from Goobertown is one of the artists of this thing. So this is a way to get your hands on pieces like we just talked about, like from Dave Taylor. Things from awesome contributors to our hobby, our kind of ecosystem, ecosphere of the hobby. And there is just under 17 minutes left in the live raffles. If you want to contribute past the period of that, you can still donate to the foundation, and it goes out to the same charities in the same way. There's even a way, like, you want to get one ticket and then bump up an extra $5 or whatever on everything, you get that opportunity at checkout. And I know that because during that break I kicked in for a couple of extra tickets.
Me too.
we were oodling over this Crimson Hunter army, which you guys just heard Mini Wargaming Dave talk about. Now, what fantastic ambassadors for the game Mini Wargaming has been, especially paving the way for so many content creators, showing them that what they do can be done, can be sustainable, encouraging so many other people to pick it up. I know they were a great inspiration for me getting into this, even if I haven't had the success they have. But man, I like in the break where we were off, Josh and myself, we were oogling this army, just pricing up what it is in Australian dollars, and it's obscene in Australian dollars.
It's a lot.
That how good Diffie was saying how good Bellicor looks in red. He looks phenomenal, doesn't he?
I've never seen him done in pretty much really any other color than the blacks and grays, with usually the kind of OSL of the sword or something around them. But yeah, having a Bellicor in red, it's unique, that's for sure. And yeah, with the green highlights in the sword, that's awesome.
That'll get pointed out in the chat as to how it just really pops, that color theory, that artistry that went into this. My original Bellicor was red. I played a very Khorne themed army, so when he came out during the Storm of Chaos, number one, back then it was just boggles my mind how cool the wings were back, and that model was. You really, you wanted it, so I had it, but I wanted it to match my army, so I also painted mine red. So there's like kind of like a spiritual link between back then and now, and seeing it translate. Maybe paint the new one up in red too, just because I figure like he could. I know he is the Prince of Shadow, the original Demon Prince, but he could probably make himself look every once.
Yeah, probably could.
Why not?
Could probably pretend to be whatever. Yeah, I think so. Just do whatever you want. I think
he's got all the marks. Right,
exactly, and he's an amazing blank canvas miniature, I believe. Like the fact that his base scheme is like a muted black, it just means like you can really do whatever you want with it, and I think it's going to come out fine as long as it, put some time into the execution. Make sure your color theory spot on, as this is a great example of with this force. You can't really go wrong.
You guys
buy a
ready?
ticket, try to win it.
14 minutes left. Sorry to jump in, but I want everybody to know 14 minutes left to get some tickets for these wonderful things. Baroness Aurelia, that night that we talked about, the single models you can use for your games, your table, any kind of tabletop games, or just look good in your display case, or just put on your mantle, like you're right next to, the holiday cards you might get, or birthday cards or whatever. Like, and here's that. And then here's Abaddon the Despoiler. That's what I'm about, to show off. That's what, I mean, that. These pieces are worth that, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely they are. But just talking about a couple of the specials that are on here as well, because there's models are all well and good. If you like me, if you like Paul, you like Diffie, you like Tanya, I have a cupboard, a basket, a basement full of miniatures. But I don't always have the best expertise of how to paint them. There's a couple of phenomenal artists here who are giving up, 3-hour private painting sessions on, painting, modeling, and things of that ilk. For $7, you can get like a one-off experience that can enhance your entire enjoyment of your own hobby. I think that's a phenomenal thing.
Well, talking about Caleb Weissenberg, is that I've seen this happen. He takes people that have no knowledge of airbrushing at all, and at the end of a single session, you're airbrushing faces. I've had an airbrush for going on a decade. I can't airbrush a face. The class I think I would benefit from the class.
I would too, man. Like I'm relatively new to airbrushing, and my technique is mostly used for I'm just trying to, I just do it to use a good pre-shade and then put down my base colors and then go back to the brush. I'd love to take my painting to the next level again. Like I'd love to go up and to level up in that way. And I think this would be a great way of doing it.
Yeah, so this is what you're taking. So they have learned things over time, right? And they get to boil it down, translate it to you. You get a little one-on-one to struggle, because some of these things, like I said, I watch a lot of tutorials, and sometimes they don't cover the step that hangs me up, right? So being able to talk to one of these folks that have this expertise already, they may be able to explain something in a way that helps you and whatever your personal hurdle is to get to where you'd like to be. And look, I try to never compare my painting to someone else's. That's not the way to do it. You really got to be happy with what you want. But sometimes you feel, at least I feel anyway, that if I just knew how to get to this one extra step, or get to this one effect that I want. Like I really want this plasma pistol to look a certain way, or like Tanya was talking about on the last show we just did, talking about want these headlights to look a certain way or whatever. How do I get there? And they can tell you like some of their expertise that they may not know to explain to you until you're in that one-on-one setting. And this is a cool way to come away with something like that.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Tutorials on the internet, like in video format, are one thing, but nothing is going to compare to having one-on-one interaction with the actual artist when you're trying to learn a specific technique, right? Because they're going to be able to look at what you're doing in real time and correct you in real time, or give you options in real time for you to try, and then you can give that feedback back to them. It's just such a great experience, and it's really inexpensive for the chance to win that.
That nudge, sometimes folks, they just want to be like, I really want to make this color work, and none of the tutorials are for that color that I thought. So how can you give me what color, what steps can I do to make this the scheme that I really love that's in my head? How do I get it from my head to the miniature?
Yeah, dude. And that's something I actually use tutorials for. I use them to try and find a way to activate the scheme that I've got in my head. I mean, a lot of people in this hobby are very imaginative, very artistic, but we don't always have the like you said, the method of getting that thing in our brain onto the canvas being the models, the miniatures. And I just love that we are so good at helping each other in those ways. I mean, you and I reminisce about this sometimes. I'm sure definitely Diffie can relate. I had to actually walk up into a shop and ask somebody what dry brushing was, because I didn't have a book to look up. I couldn't Google it because the internet didn't actually exist at the time. I had to walk up to a dude at a painting table and be like, what's dry brushing, man? And he kind of rolled his eyes at me because I was a pretty over eager young man.
You hear about it, but that's cool. I mean, look, I'm glad you had the courage to ask.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. And that guy taught me about it. Pretty much all he did was say, here's some black, paint this Terminator black, because I had a couple of old pewter Terminators. And okay, here's a bit of chainmail, and now overbrush the hell out of it with this chainmail, and that's dry. There you go, dry brushing. And I think I still had that model somewhere. Probably still with that chainmail on it. It didn't get any further than that. But that's what we had to do back then. And now, you could get a private class with one of these masters of this artistry, of this craft, and just learn some really unique things.
I know Clay from Mastermind Models and Minis. He did the one of the entries, big entries in the last Nova Open Charitable Foundation. That the dude knows his stuff. I think you can feel confident getting some courses from these artists here. I mean, look at their work too. I mean, look at it. Like they're going to teach you, again, probably whatever your skill level is at to get you to wherever you want to be, and that can be invaluable. Like you said, unlocking dry brushing, unlocking a little bit of OSL, unlocking these things, adding to your hobby toolbox, your personal hobby toolbox that you then get to pay yourself forward with every army, everything that you do in the future.
Yeah, spot on. Any other pieces you guys want to draw attention to? We just had in the chat our good man Gary's pointed out we've got 8 minutes left.
8 minutes.
We got
left
6
to get in.
6 minutes left now.
6 minutes
Just,
left. So 2 minutes ago, he told us it was 8 minutes left.
So maybe some friendly rivalry might also help us get those numbers up as well. So it shouldn't come too much of a surprise that of the donations, we're currently at about 57% from the US, but UK is coming in at 18% behind. Then Canada at 7%, Germany and Australia are almost neck and neck at 5%. So let's get some more donations in. And
yeah, I know that there's some
say,
Canadians in the chat. You could maybe bump our numbers up a little bit, friends. Come on.
Germany's got an unfair advantage over Australia at the moment because of the time zone. So Germany, this is your chance, to do it. And I also want to call.
I just donated.
Want to call out. There you go. It's like I want to call out that Diff and Adam, it's the middle of the night for y'all. So thanks for hanging in here with us. And so show these guys some love by kicking in a couple tickets and making it awesome for them as well.
I bought some tickets.
I bought too many tickets.
I love this. Prometheus 7 just realized that Baron Sorel is basing is near perfect match for their Mantis Warrior bases. So you know what? Whatever you need is inspiration to get in there. But that's really cool. And I would
Perfect
point out bases not exactly hard to change if that's a consideration.
Well, another thing about Baroness Aurelia, I believe she's got her arms magnetized as well. So if you wanted to, you could just buy another knight, magnetize those arms, and then you have essentially 2 knights that are fully magnetized. And if you want, you could do your best to your best ability, replicate the arms on Baroness Aurelia on your things like your rapid fire battle cannon, on your Avenger Gatling cannon, and you could have every knight from that one chassis. I mean, it's already magnetized. You wouldn't be altering anything, you wouldn't be changing anything, you wouldn't be really removing or fiddling with too much at all. It's just some magneted slots that are already there.
I love it, folks coming in the chat, representing where they are, and thanks for hanging out, especially if it is the middle of your night, or even taking any time out of your day. Thank you for allowing us to come and be there with you and spend this time with us. Again, even if you can't contribute into the charity, it really means a lot that you're here with us, listening, checking out these models, helping us build awareness for this type of thing, because there's gonna be more.
Apologies, she's not magnetized. I thought it was the arms, but it's the shield and the torso that are magnetized. Completely spoke out of turn. My deepest apologies.
Someone can take that as their own hobby project to magnetize up that if they wanted to. But look,
Dude,
check out the pictures. You'll see exactly what you're getting.
I have got a project. So I've got a week's holiday coming up, and I have an Imperial Knight that I've set as my project. If I find out today that I've won this Imperial Knight, Baroness Aurelia, I'm going to be hard pressed to not try. No, to not try and replicate that scheme. I'd want to have that Baroness leading like her own Knightlands of similar schemed. I can't say with any credit or any actual, with any certainty that I'd be able to get anything as good as that. But I would do my damn best to replicate as close as I could.
So about 3 minutes left in the raffle. So get a ticket. It's not too late to get in there and get a couple of tickets and then check out. If you happen to miss the end of it, or you just want to kick in an extra $5 without even worrying about whether or not you come away with a model, there's something you can do that through the links on the website as well. And then after the close of the raffle, we're going to jibber jabber for a little bit while we calculate and tabulate behind the scenes. The Nova Open Charitable Foundation, they are going to be drawing some winners live on air. So, hang out. You happen to be one of the folks in the chat that happens to win something. I would love to hear your reaction if that happens.
We would love to get your live reactions. Tell us what your plans are with the miniatures, if you have any, if they're just going to be sitting on your shelf or sitting on your display cabinet. So much the better. Sorry, Diff.
Probably a question I should have asked before we started streaming tonight. But Paul, will they actually be live on air, or will they be texting us through the results?
Oh, they'll be. I think we'll be getting electronically fed the results. No, look, I told you I'm always at constant war with production. I want you to find them and get them on. Yeah, I know you would. I know you would. But no, we're not going to place those demands on you. Hopefully, we'll be able to just get some electronic information on that, and we'll be able to announce the winners on air for the ones. We won't be doing all the raffles because there are so many of them, but we're going to do some. Hopefully, I think some of the higher profile ones. So people can hear that. And if you're in the chat, sound off, or look, even if you're watching this afterwards, like, this is cool. Come in, let us know what you think. Let us know what you would like to see for these types of things, and the stories from the artist, or either from the winners or from the charities, that if we have any thing and what you want to see in types like this, because we want to make this fun and entertaining. And this is it's been a pretty cool way to spend a morning.
Oh, absolutely. And I enjoy doing this this being the third one done by the current crew you guys are seeing. This is something we're very passionate about. Something that Diffie and I are very happy to stay up at the wee hours of the morning in order to bring to you. And so I hope you guys know that every single cent you guys put in means the world to us and the world to the NOCF. You guys are phenomenal contributors, and thank you so much to all the artists who've contributed as well, year in, year out. You guys put up some of the best work you can find anywhere, and you guys give it away purely for
45 seconds left.
45 seconds. Do it.
Yeah,
you got
about 45 seconds left.
Clear those carts. Get them done. Get it through. Log it in.
And I know we're talking about the urgency of the last few seconds here, but this is a journey. Like, this is get subscribed to the mailing list, check out the site, bookmark it. So, because they do this a couple times a year, and new things come up every time, and you never know what you're going to see. But I will say the consistency from time to time has always been just the absolute gloriousness of the models in the showcase of the artistry each and every time. I think that's it. I think they've closed.
I think
Probably.
that is, man. I think
just
that's
talked for
all
45 seconds.
So
it's probably only one breath.
These will ship worldwide.
This absolutely will ship worldwide. I told you guys here last year I won a beautiful Warcry squig. So I keep saying Warcry.
It's still Warhammer Underworlds.
It's still Warhammer Underworlds. Hasn't
Yep.
changed. But yeah, I brought a beautifully painted pastel colored. Looks like a bag of Skittles when I got it. The Squig Night Goblin Squig Army force for Underworlds I won, and was shipped in perfect mint condition without a single breakage from I think the NOCF is based in Washington.
Yeah, Virginia. Northern Virginia.
I don't know where that is, but
Washington is a state. You mean near Washington D.C.?
Yeah, DC. Yeah. Sorry. Literally, the one side of the earth to the other side of the earth.
it's in the northern
pristine,
hemisphere.
Perfect. Yeah, that's right.
Well, let me also while they're calculating some winners on the back end, we'll definitely announce some of those. I'm gonna say whether you got 1 ticket or 100 tickets, best of luck. Each ticket has an equal chance of coming away with something, and so if you even just kicked in something on a lark, I hope everybody gets what they want.
Are you? Who wants to know the grand total?
Let's see it. What is the grand total for this? Not just this stream, right? This is the whole thing. Remember, it's a journey.
Yeah.
These are folks that have been kicking in for a while.
So, the grand total for this raffle is $102,000.
Wow.
That's pretty
Shout
impressive.
out to the community. That's
amazing.
That's wonderful. $102,000. And I mean, the thing, these are $6 and $8 tickets. That means a ton of folks have contributed, and these charities are going to be the ultimate beneficiaries of this. And I'm happy to be here, proud to be a part of this.
A total of
what a phenomenal.
A total of 3,290 individual people.
Legends. Individual legends.
Individual legends.
Look, and I know these are difficult times right now. Not everybody can kick in, so please remember, like if it's not your thing, right? Maybe none of the charities spoke to you or whatever. Share this around the next time it comes up, because this is the type of thing that not everybody knows exists. I mean, we're sitting here talking about it and we tweet about it and that kind of stuff, but not everyone knows the stuff exists. Don't even know it's available. Maybe it's maybe they're looking for ways to donate to charities, or maybe they just want a shot at getting some of these amazing models. Share it with your friends. And so they know to come back next time and check them out.
I'm absolutely stunned that we broke 6 figures. I think that's an incredible testament to the community, to all the contributors, and to everybody who's a part of this. I think that's absolutely incredible.
And for those that don't understand the absolute scope of the NOCF and how long they've been going for and how much they've now raised for all the charities, since 2013, including this just $102,000, that brings it to $565,000.
Wow.
Of donations since 2013.
I mean, that's the folks watching right now. It's the folks listening. That's the folks that have been coming back. Because there are folks that come back every year. Because honestly, the models are different every time. This is not like there's every time there's going to be one Chaos Army one night or whatever. You kind of there's some amazing stuff.
Every year that I've been involved, I have bought tickets for an Abaddon. Just saying.
Abaddon is on his 7th Nova Open Charitable Foundation crusade. It's a separate count.
It is. It's definitely, there's definitely no obscure plot point that we're going to arbitrarily pull out to justify all the failures in the past which Diffie has not managed to win.
He is also on his 13th crusade to get a spectacularly painted Abaddon model.
We actually have a question. Kusaku in the chat has asked, other than the grand total, I'm interested in which army/model got the most tickets sold. Now,
Yeah, I
that's
don't know if we're
that's
going to have
cool.
that. We can't. I don't think we have the access to that
Mm.
information. We just see the aggregates or whatever. But you got to think though, some of the stuff that if it's important to you, you got to think it's important to other folks. And so if you are wanting to be a part of or to get one of these things, and you know it's important, you might want to get more than one ticket because each ticket gives you a better chance of winning. But I don't. We unfortunately don't have that info.
Yeah, it's the metrics. It's the different, like, do you spread your money out? Do you like buy
Alright.
one ticket of all the
So we
things you're
don't-
interested in, or you just
We
dunk
don't
on one?
have.
I've diversified.
We don't
Yeah.
have the numbers that they want. However, there are 6 armies, 6 individual units, 25 models, and 5 experiences. What's that? That's 32 prizes. Yeah.
I'll trust your math. I'll
Yep,
trust
I
Tech's
wasn't paying
math.
enough attention.
All right. I'm glad we're all there. So that's if my math was right there, which it probably wasn't at this at 2:00 in the morning. It's a little over $3,000 per prize on average.
That's so cool.
legit. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
So again,
yeah, something like that.
yeah. With this, you never know. Again, what you're going to see for this kind of thing. But some of the artists, they're going to want to showcase their talent. So there's got to be some champion showcase, exemplary piece from certain factions, certain armies or units or other games. I know we didn't talk a lot about the fact that, but there are other game systems represented here, not just Warhammer 40,000 and Age of Sigmar. There are other game systems here. And look, if you know an artist friend, get in contact with the foundation if they want to contribute. Look, I mentioned that there's different ways that people can contribute. You can get some tickets. That's one way that helps supports things. You can help spread the word. Like that's what we're doing. Oh, essentially, we're talking at the camera right now, but we're just helping spread the word, which is something you can do in different ways, sharing on Twitter, sharing on your Facebook, sharing through email, word of mouth, talking in a text message. Yo, buddy,
Carrier
go check
pigeon.
this out. But then if you're an artist and contribute your time in something that is another attraction, a draw that people want to come and check out the site and maybe get a ticket or two.
Yeah, exactly right. Like, send up some smoke signals. I mean, don't set anything on fire in particular. That's that's going to be flammable. Smoke signals, carrier pigeons, it's all good.
Yeah. So again, there's all different ways that this community has come together, and that is exactly what we've seen. And that's the grand total over the years that Diffie was talking about. Like that is not done just through things like this, just through the artists themselves. This is done through the community coming together, sharing these things, talking about things to make people aware of it. And that's another way. I'm talking about ways that people can contribute to things that have zero financial obligation to, which again, because not everybody's in a place to do it, but you can definitely do that in a way. It helps everybody, helps the whole machine work. And if you can do that, and you're hearing this now or hear this later in the future, please consider that as an option.
Absolutely right. So where are we at right now? Do we got time? We want to roll another interview while we wait for some of the prizes to come up and some of the raffles to be drawn?
Yeah, let's do it. How about Brent from Goobertown? That's we get to talk a little bit about the Crimson Hunter project and how they've contributed over the time.
Absolutely.
Is that something we could do, Diffie?
Yep. I've got it ready to go now.
Beautiful. Let's dial it up. I love the guys from Goobertown.
Great dude. Love chatting with him over these last couple of times. Yeah, let's hear it.
See you on the other side.
Hey everybody, welcome to a very special segment for the Nova Open Charitable Foundation. My name is Paul, your host. I'm joined by, I'm sure you recognize, Brent Omberger. Man, thanks for joining me.
Hello. Good to be here.
Dude, how you doing over there at Goobertown?
Doing well.
Hey, well, thanks for joining us again for the foundation this year. Can you tell me a little bit about what your involvement is? Because I think you've got some entries into the raffle.
Yeah, so this is my second year doing stuff with the NOCF, and last year I did some Blood Angels. I painted 30 Blood Angels for last year's raffle. This year, tried to scale that back a little bit, but I did start thinking about what I wanted to contribute much earlier this year, and right about the time I was thinking about what I wanted to put in for the raffle is when the Warhammer Underworlds warband Kagra's Ravagers came out. And so that is 4 Slaves to Darkness, Warriors of Chaos, or 3 warriors and then 1 wizardy kind of lady. And yeah, so I have been working on an army for myself, this yellowy orange Slaves to Darkness army, and it's been a project here in Goobertown for well over a year at this point, like 18 months at this point. I should probably finish that up. But anyway, I really like the
Hey, no
yeah,
pressure. You can
no
go at your
pressure,
own
no
pace.
pressure.
Yeah.
I really do like that yellow paint scheme, and it seems like the internet likes it too. So I decided to paint those 4 figures up in that exact same paint scheme. And actually, I used this as an excuse to take my time and get them as good as I could and go in and get like a lot of close-up video shots that I'll use in future videos.
Oh,
So I've
nice.
done a lot of that video project as time lapses and kind of showing me sitting at the desk and there being like a big digital clock behind me showing that I've been working on this for however many 100 hours. And
Technically, you can put pressure on yourself. That's actually one of the
yeah,
whatever drives you to get those projects done.
sometimes in the good way, sometimes in the bad way. But I don't know. I for the last few months, I haven't sat down with my big clock and putting it in any time on that army. But I'll get back to it. I'll get back to it. Um,
Are you enjoying the color scheme though? Because that comes through in the project, which you know that someone's going to really appreciate having that, knowing
yeah,
that you had a fun time doing it.
no, I do. And this is what makes it more special is that I have been working on it for 18 months at this point, and it's something that I still enjoy. And so, as we all get better at painters, I very frequently find it to be the case that, I learn something new or I come to regret something or, why'd I do it this way? Or this yellow is no longer novel at all to me. I hate this color now. And so,
Hey, if you can make something that complex routine, then you've unlocked
yeah,
something.
yeah. And not only is there, a little bit of subtlety in the color transitions there, but it's a color scheme that I still enjoy. And that does not happen a lot. Like a lot of times when we're thinking about army color schemes, we go through a lot of choices, maybe do some test models. But it's very frequently that we, I don't know, change our favorite chapter or yeah, change what we want to be working on. And I'm real happy that this is still going strong, that I still look at those models almost 2 years later or whatever, and be like, yeah, that's a good paint scheme. I want to keep working on that army. And like I said, the internet seems to mostly like that yellow as well. So I figured I'd take that exact same color recipe, I'd put it down on that relatively new Warhammer Underworlds warband,
Hmm.
and yeah, like I said, since I've been doing a lot of my army as the big wide shots and the digital clock in the background, working on those 4 figures gave me a chance to take my time and get those like really in focus shots for when I'm putting together future videos on this project. So the 4 minis from that Kagra's Ravagers set, as long as I finish that army, are definitely going to end up in a Goobertown Hobbies video, like those 4 that are actually being raffled off right now. And yeah, if you care about that sort of thing, yeah, buy a ticket.
Oh, I think the enthusiasm is carries through. People are going to enjoy it. And look, that is a pretty accessible game too. So even if you haven't started playing that game, throw in a couple of tickets, and you're going to have a complete. That's a complete force.
Hmm.
Like you can take what you are doing and take it directly to the game, and you never need another figure out of that force.
It is. No, and they are beautiful figures. So I remember the Saturday that force was released. I went to my friendly local game store and they only had 1 in stock, so I bought it. And then I drove to the GW store and I bought 2 more of those, so that
Oh,
I'd have
nice.
one to paint up and raffle off, and then I'd have one to do some conversions and make myself a new Slambo because one of the warriors has 2 weapons out to the side,
Yep.
and yeah, so I've got 2 of those boxes for myself, and one is over in NOCF headquarters, waiting for a winner. But I did, of course, send along a pack of the Underworlds cards in case you actually do want to play with them.
Oh, I encourage people to play. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
it's a great game. It's I mean, it's something you can bang out with your friends in 30, 40 minutes and get a full game's worth of experience. And one of the neat things is that this is like I mentioned, it's just a full army. You never need another figure. So it's if you're looking to get another ticket or two, even if you're getting multiple things, throw in a ticket on this, and if you win, you've got everything you need to play,
yeah. Yeah, I
basically.
guess with Underworlds, I mean, if you're really getting into it, you might pick up a couple of cards to slip into your deck or something. But in terms of actual figures, that is the warband. You can neither add nor subtract from that warband. And even in a couple of years, once it rotates out of official play or whatever, yeah, still should look good on the shelf, I hope.
It's
And
it, it's a neat
yeah.
feature of the game. Yeah. So what's the other thing you're working on?
Yeah, so I also got roped into helping out with a Khorne Chaos Space Marine Chaos Army. So this is the same crew that was working on the Blood Angels army from last year. And
I can appreciate that affiliation with Red.
yeah,
I'm
I
a Blood
was,
Angels guy. That's
honestly, I was like, I don't know if I want to paint any more Red Space Marines. I was thinking of like, politely declining this year and just focusing on the Kagras Ravagers. But then the list of figures that were actually going to be in that army, got shared around on the email chain, and there are 2 Lord Discordants on Hellstalker in there, and so yeah,
yeah.
if it was just like, Brent, do you want to paint 30 red Chaos Space Marines? I probably would have said, I'll catch up with you next year. But there was, yeah, Lord Discordant on Hellstalker, which is one of the minis from, there was some, box set that came out a year ago or so from Games Workshop, and it was one of the centerpieces. It's this,
It's
yeah,
amazing. It's an amazing model. It looks, I mean,
yeah.
intimidating, and vicious. I mean, it's again, amazing sculpt, amazing model.
Yeah.
So have you painted this yet, or is
Oh,
it
oh yes,
still
oh yes, yes, yes.
okay? All right.
Yeah, so it's like this giant metal insect thing, of
Hmm.
which Chaos Space Marines has a couple. And so it's this big armored 6-legged thing. And then, I mean, I still don't understand all the lore, but it has like fleshy mandibles sticking out the front end of it. So there's something living in there. It has, all
Awfully
these
chaotic.
tubes that are filled with colorful liquids and stuff. But um, yes, I've painted that. Got some sweet red to black fades on there, and then painted all the trim. And man, Chaos Space Marines have a lot of trim, so that was. So I'm glad I didn't sign up to paint 30, even just infantry troops. But yeah,
That's another one of those things. You unlock a trick. You figure out what works for you, and then you can kind of go on autopilot. Maybe it's different for
well,
everybody.
I definitely was going on autopilot, but no matter how you do it, that trim takes a long time to do, which was fine. I actually found it really relaxing and everything. Um, and yeah, it made me appreciate that army. Like, I don't know, Warhammer IP, some of the stuff is so like out there and weird that it takes a while to click with you. And I've always found that it takes like a couple of years before like the next army clicks with you. Like, oh, yeah, okay, I guess Tau are pretty cool, or whatever. Like, and so it took a while for me to care about Space Marines, and then finally that sunk in. Like, oh yeah, okay. I mean, there's some cool design elements there, and they're really, yeah, okay. I can learn to enjoy these. Um, and then for me, Chaos Space Marines, this was the project that did it. One, just that sculpt is so cool, and then two, I was sitting there painting all the
Magnificent.
trim,
Yeah.
and people complain about all that trim, but I actually really like it. And so I'm working on a video here in Goobertown right now with a serious recommendation that new painters give Chaos Space Marines a try. And my argument here is that all of that trim adds so much contrast and like definition to all the important shapes on the model, so that even if you're painting by numbers, you got the red armor and then you got the gold trim. And yes, both of those steps are going to take a long time, but when you get done, you don't need to edge highlight because all the edges are covered in metal. And all the edges being covered in metal, they basically do the job of edge highlighting. So they trace
Just by the
around
nature
each
of
of the
light.
shapes.
Yeah.
They add the contrast to each of the shapes, and yeah, now you've got 2 colors on the mini. and they're also really well balanced. Like the composition is right because they're both spread throughout the entire figure, and so yeah, as soon as I finished doing a nice job on that Hellstalker, then I took out just a couple of spare, Chaos Space Marines I had around here. Just started laying down like 2 colors, and like, wow, like even without shading or highlighting or
Oh,
anything like
you've got
that,
the
like
corruption of chaos.
these are not bad. These are not bad, and yeah. So also on this particular army project for the Khorne army, actually several names that you'll recognize, but one of the ones is Dave from Mini Wargamer Dave, and
Chaos enthusiast.
And so I've long known that he is just obsessed with this faction, and I mean I don't think I'll ever fully understand what goes on in his mind, but like I'm getting there. I'm starting to see the appeal of these minis for sure. Yeah.
That's how chaos gets you, man.
I
That's how.
guess.
Soon you'll be hooked. Well, look, if people have not already gone to check it out, go to the Nova Open Charitable Foundation website. Look at the armies, look at the single models, look at the special things that are up for raffle. Get a couple of tickets. It all goes to a great cause. Brent, is there anything else you'd like to cover before we wrap this up?
No, you just said it. Go check out all those auctions. They're yeah, this year, every year has a lot of great stuff. This year, again, lots of wonderful options, and man, I almost need to like make a straw account over here to buy a few tickets myself.
It's like it's really great to have you participate and seeing the stuff that you're doing this year. Hopefully, we can check in with you again as we get closer to the virtual event that we're going to host. But as always, it's really great catching up with you.
Absolutely.
Have a good day.
You too.
All right, everybody, are we back?
We're back.
I feel like we're back. Thanks for folks hanging in there in the stream and hanging in after the raffle is closed, so we can talk about some winners. Diffie, I'm gonna turn it over to you. Let's announce a couple of winners.
All right, so let's the first winner, which was a drawing of the Forest Dragon. Let me see if I can multitask here.
It's not a drawing of a forest dragon. It's a big old forest dragon.
Yes.
It's a 3D.
You didn't win a drawing of a forest dragon. Apologies. Yes.
I wish it was.
So the
I'll draw you
Forest
one if you'd
Dragon,
like.
was won
It's not gonna
by
be good.
Kay Bibberstein from Waukesha, Wisconsin.
Well done, Diffie, reading that out, and well done to the winner. That is a phenomenal piece, and I hope you're really happy with it. Hope you play Sylvaneth, or if not, you play some other D&D related game that you can make use of this beautiful,
Dude.
beautiful dragon.
I got a buddy. He collects dragons to eventually spring on his unwitting party members. I mean, that's I do the same thing. I have a collection of beholders in a game that I'm gonna run, and it's gonna crescendo into the party will have to fight an otherworldly number of beholders. So, look, you can do whatever you want with these miniatures. Is what I'm talking about. That's what.
All right. Do you want to go into our second drawing that is not a drawing?
Yeah, hang on.
Yes.
Jay Crosby says it's 12:20 a.m. there. Where are you coming in from? Where is it? Yeah, I mean that's 12 hours in the future. That's got to be down in y'all's land.
That'd be
Yeah, somewhere-
Western Australia.
I would have thought Western Australia. Yeah,
That's my money.
because they're 2 hours. They're 2 hours behind us, almost on the dot. So yeah, that's perfect.
Exactly on the dot. Just
Yeah. Dude, go back to your forest dragon drawings, man.
we've moved on. We're up to
Okay, what do we got next? What do we
we're
got
up
next?
to the Iron Skull Lads. Blood Bowl Black Orcs.
You get goblins and black orcs, and you get an OG
Blood Bowl-
modeled troll.
I'll say this: Blood Bowl, you can play it campaign style, but to me, and I've felt this way for years, and I don't know if we've gotten past that. I think Blood Bowl is the best one-off game that Games Workshop has made. You can
Fair.
play it in a setting of where you play a campaign, you run through your team, a season with your team or whatever, a league. We've done Blood Bowl leagues in the past, but a Blood Bowl, you can just sit down and play it as a one-off game, and I love it.
Who's the winner?
The winner is Nicholas Fryer from Baldwin, Missouri.
Congratulations, Nicholas.
Hold on.
Dude, great. I will say that it's funny listening to these city places and names from someone in Australia. I would be doing the same thing that you're doing, talking about some places.
That's why you asked me to do it, isn't it?
It's part of the reason.
Yeah.
It's the largest reason.
Are you sure there's no like small dark Eldar part of you, Paul Murphy? You just want to torture Josh.
We have any other draws coming through, or
We do. I'm
holding
just
fire?
trying. No, we've got one more that has just come through that I'm trying to find. The Lord Lumineth of Haxar, which I'm assuming is a singles model.
No, I think it's Army.
Oh, really? Okay, that makes
Yep,
a lot more
Lumineth Army.
sense.
Yep.
Makes more sense.
Lumineth of Hyxia?
Yep.
Yes.
The Lumineth launch
For
set.
Age
Yeah,
of Sigmar.
yeah. Beautifully
Okay.
painted in a nice cold steel and poppy red. I actually think it's really beautifully done. What's the name of the hollow armor?
That
what's
is
the name?
it's Arathorn or something
I'll
like
have
that.
the list. Yeah, we should just read the list.
Ethereum.
Eltharion. The
Yeah.
Light of Eltharion. That model is mind-bendingly good.
Dude, that was one of the ones. So the Lumina are it's one of those. It's a canvas, right, for artists, and this artist is not disappointed for that. But that was the Light of Eltharion was one of the models that they debuted when they were launching or teasing the Lumineth line, and yeah, it just blows me away.
Absolutely. Who's our lucky winner?
Well, I think I might have to come back to you on that one because the message isn't actually as clear as I thought it was.
Fair.
Yep, I'll come back to you on that one.
So no, it's Peter Thompson from Kajorn, California.
Yep.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, just look one message up though. That's my question.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm not. Anyway.
Well, look, the winners are going to be
Sorry,
contacted.
apologies. No, I'm understanding now what's going on here. So,
The winners will be contacted officially by Nova Open Charitable
Yeah.
Foundation. You don't have to worry about necessarily what we say. The people will get their contacts from.
But dude, these models, this is a really beautiful starter army. 4 of the Cav, bunch of the Spearmen. 5 of the Cav. Why do I think it was 4? There's one blending in there. This is a really unique. You see the frills. I don't know what to call them. The accents, the kind of blended pink to red on a lot of the what do you call them?
What, the mains, the crests?
Yeah, the mains, the crests, the headdresses. I think it's a really, really nice touch.
Yeah, this is one of those the color schemes. They absolutely pop with this.
Normally you see this army and it's in cool colors, so it'll be like cool white with cool blue. It's really interesting that the artist has gone to a more warmer color palette for this one, and I actually really like it.
I really like it as well. I actually, so what the colors G chose for those models, I thought they actually didn't do. I know that the traditional high elf colors, and it made a lot of sense that they'd be painted that way. But I thought they actually didn't do the models as much justice as they could have. And I do think that doing a lot of the pieces, breaking up the pieces with different colors, some warm, some cold, and some in the middle, really shows a lot more about what's going on.
Well, these models you can do. I mean, really, it lends itself to doing whatever you want. You can play with them. You could really experiment and bring in your own style. Well, I guess every army you can bring in your own theme and stuff, but sometimes the models just kind of beg for it. And this is one of those, like we see here with the crest, like you pointed out, the shields, the color combinations, the palettes that they go with this. Yeah, uh, yeah. This is a showcase.
Absolutely. Do we have another one to announce? Do we have any more that have come out and been churned out by the lovely NSCF?
Well, we've
backend?
got the mountain giant. So David Castillo won the mountain giant from San Jose, California. And an interesting note is that they only kicked in tickets for that, so they really seem to really want it. And it's nice that they came away with it. That's another one. It's going to look great on a shelf. It's going to look great in a tabletop role playing game.
Now this, I like how muted and understated this is. Like, and I like how you it's rare and it's almost brave what the artist has done here, and that the lighter portion of the model is down towards the model's feet, the model's shins, because it's actually got a little bit of light, a little bit of OSL coming towards his knee and calf area. And so the actual bit that people always look at, people always are drawn to faces, and I think that's just a thing about being human. That is kind of the darkest part of the model, whereas the lightest part of the model is at the bottom around his weapon, his shins, his feet. And I think that's a really interesting touch.
So this is from it's Mark Sarastro. I actually had the benefit of sitting down and talking with them leading up to this, and seeing and hearing a little bit about their journey as they were painting it. And this is, I mean, just look like exactly like you pointed out. There is so much artistry represented on this model. So it's kind of cool that someone that obviously really wanted it seems to have come away with it. That's nice.
Yeah, spot on. It's obvious this individual wanted this model, and yeah, happy to see it happen.
So we're going to see some a conclusion here to our Terror of the Silent story. I think that's we're going to draw that winner next. I know I kicked in a ticket.
What did we draw?
So the Terror of the Silent. That's the Reaper miniature that we talked about earlier.
Oh yes, Tanya.
Yeah. So Tanya, I'm crossing my fingers for you.
Tanya the Silent.
Yeah, there you
go. Oh, she's so beautiful.
I know.
There's a lot going on behind the scenes, and I know Diffie, you're spinning some plates, and so is the foundation itself, trying to get these turned around for us so we can talk about them over the scope of our broadcast here.
Yeah, and it's there's a lot of moving parts that go into something like this, and even more moving parts that go into putting on a production like this. As you guys may or may not know, our man Joshua Diffie right there. Me, Paul, Tanya essentially have the easy job. We just get to actually just spin words and do what we feel that comes naturally to us. Josh needs to come with us for the ride here. He's also managing a lot of the back end and slotting in the interviews and the other pieces as well. He is a micromanager.
Truly wearing multiple hats, doing double and triple duty that it cannot be understated. Thank you very much.
So this Tara piece, we hyped this one up enormously because of how unique this piece is, and almost like who knows? And not to say this was ever be a thing, but if you win this piece and 20 years from now, Reaper's the new G dub. Who knows what this could actually be worth money wise? Not that you'd want to sell it, but in saying that how much value it could increase or how special it could become, it's a thing.
It's a bit. I want to say, Ruben Martinez, you're getting a fabulous piece. Ruben Martinez from Houston, Texas, is the winner of the silent model here.
Congratulations. F's in chat for Tanya.
Yes.
F's in chat for Tanya. Congratulations, Ruben.
Love our soundboard here, breaking that out. We're using all the tricks.
Yeah, that's also Diffie as well. It's another thing he's doing. Sorry, go Tanya.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, I wanted to congratulate the winner because, like, that's a piece that you can use for years to come, and you're never gonna get sick of it.
Well, as I was mentioning, it's like the artists seem to really be able to get the most out of these models, like we see from Reaper and figures like that, and they've not disappointed here. So this is a showpiece that's completely awesome. So we're going to draw several more winners. So we've got the Panacea Military Order coming up, as Ravagers. We're going to draw for the Legion Army. We're going to draw for the Mini Wargaming Bunker trip, and then we're getting into the Custodes Army. So hang tight. And then we're going to eventually close out with the Midwinter Winnies Blackstone Fortress Collection as the last winner that we'll draw.
And yeah, the
Here.
rest will be drawn off screen. You'll be contacted privately by whatever means was listed when you purchased your raffle tickets. And thank you once again. $102,000. Wow. Just going to
Yeah.
say wow.
That's
Yeah.
a
Oh, yeah.
significant amount of money. This community is amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, and look, these haven't been up for a really long time. So this is, remember, like I said, come back and check. Like, get signed up for the newsletter. Mark your calendar to go back and check the website around this time of year, every year, because you never know what you're going to see. And each time, there's something that makes my jaw drop. I mean, I basically I comb over these pictures and like, are you kidding? How on earth did they do this? And then followed up quickly by, I want it.
So the NOCF. I mean, we did the raffle this time last year, but we also did one in. Is it a fall raffle? When we did two.
Yeah, yeah. There's a winter, so there's a summer and then a fall. I think there is. Yep.
Yeah. So don't wait a full 12 months to come back.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Fair enough. Yeah,
you'll
right.
miss.
Shortly after this.
You'll miss one.
Just sign up for the newsletter. Really, not only do you
100%.
get updates for these events, but there's other things that the NOCF does throughout the year, and they give you updates as well on how they're doing and how you can help. So definitely make sure to check that little box when you make a donation to get the newsletter as well.
I know we're talking about the individual winners for some of these things, but I think, and this is, I think everyone that contributed needs to kind of give yourself a round of applause, because this is one of those things to where it's nice to come away with one of these things, although depending on the odds, like we were talking about, but then ultimately really the charities are the huge benefactors of this. They're the winners. All the people that get help from the charities that we're supporting here.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly right. And to just mention those again, that is Doctors Without Borders, the BCRF, that the Breast Cancer Research
Foundation. Yep.
Yeah, and Fisher House. And of course there's a couple other. I think Midwinter Minis have their own charity that they're donating to exclusively, and kudos to them for being such an awesome and avid supporter. But yeah, all these phenomenal charities that the NOCF supports year in, year out, and by extent you guys as well. And I would like to say, so we were saying the NOCF has raised over $500,000 since, was it 2013?
Yep.
So 8 years, and this year we've added a fifth onto the entire total in 1 year. So it is an absolute testament, especially with the year that we are unfortunately having in the world at the moment. You guys are incredible.
So the interesting thing about that, though, is, being from Australia, I don't have necessarily all the facts on my side, so don't let that get in the way of a good story. Historically, the raffles are done at Nova, hence the name, right?
So typically the closeout event is done in person, but since we can't do that right now, we're doing virtual. And so it's really cool to come together and bring all this international crowd together. Because
we've been able to go in that virtual, it has brought in an international crowd and really stretched the reach of the NOCF. So I think the last two raffles and now this one being the third, virtually, have broken records each time. So I think it's a great thing to see that even in tough times when we don't get to see each other in person as much as we would like, people really do dig deep and support where they can.
So the Panacean Military Order, this is in the unit section. This is a Corvus Belli model for Infinity. The winner of that is Kenneth Weiland from Portsmouth, Rhode Island.
Congratulations.
I don't know if we highlighted this during the broadcast, but these models are gorgeous. The models lend themselves to some good paint jobs. As we talked about, the technology of model making is awesome, but just the striking color scheme of this unit, which I believe actually gets you a long way in this game. So congratulations to the winner there. Another stat is that over the years, over $500,000 from 100 plus countries. So remember, we mentioned this is completely international. You can win from anywhere in the world. Your models are going to get to you safe and sound. You can get tickets with confidence, and knowing that if you win, it could be anywhere. Next we have come up is the Karger's Ravagers.
I'm
Was that
actually,
unit?
I think that's the Warcry band, isn't it?
Oh,
Yep, that
yeah.
is. So this is for Warhammer Underworlds. This is still Warhammer Underworld.
Tradition. It's tradition.
Yeah, I admire our consistency with our commitment to that bit. But this is one of those to where if you bid on something like that or get tickets for something like this, this is a complete unit. Like everything you need for this force is here. So when you see something for Underworlds, you don't ever have to worry about adding to it. This is your army for that, and so you can always play with these figures all the time. It's everything you need. You're never going to need another figure for this warband. That's one of the brilliant things about Warhammer Underworlds.
At least until a couple of cycles, and then you're not allowed to use it anymore.
It does as seasons, right? So, but
Yeah.
still, but at the same time, that stuff is cyclical. You're not going to need anything else to build off of this. You could just take it and play it and go for it.
And it really
And
doesn't
the
take
winner of
much
this
to turn
is-
this into 40k fantasy models, whatever you really want. Those guys are very well poised to turn into so many other things.
Well, typically they'll get data slate or War Scrolls for Age of Sigmar from this.
Who's the winner?
Thing. First international winner, we've got Tyler McDonald from Bon Accord, Alberta, Canada.
Hey, yeah. Canadian.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Where is that on the map, Tanya?
Where's that on the map? It's west, but it's not as west as me.
Well, congratulations! It's absolutely. I hope you play Warhammer Underworlds, and I hope you can impress your friends with these cool miniatures.
Well, you'd like to think if they were bidding on it, either they play the game or they got a plan for the models. So, good luck to you, and I hope you get a lot of love out of them.
Yep. And the thing is, so there's Warhammer Underworlds. It's one of those to where it's a part miniature strategy game, part deck building, and then part die rolling. So if you can kind of look at I look at Warhammer Underworlds, it's almost the perfect game. And the fact that you can play an entire game in 15-20 minutes sometimes.
It's
I've
a
never
great
played it before.
it's a great competitive format as well.
Yep.
Is it only not perfect because it doesn't have Sanguinius or Mephiston in it?
Yeah, it definitely needs more Mephiston. And if you can figure out a way to get Mephiston into your Warhammer Underworlds, then I know what faction I'd be playing, of course. But no, it's so everybody's got their own taste for what games are, but I'm saying it scratches all those itches. You've got competition, you've got what is close to a pretty level playing field because everyone has access to everything, and you don't. We talk about a lot about. We're talking about 2,000 point tournament list and that kind of stuff. We talk a little bit about a hobby lag. If you can find time to paint a few miniatures, you do a little bit of research on the deck, and then you have a little bit luck on the dice. It's a pretty equal playing field for things. And the great thing is that you can get a best of 3, a best of 5 done in an hour and a half, 2 hours, and that's with casual play and setting up the board. Your play experience can be different every time, but yet somewhat similar there every time. And that's what I love. All those concepts boil down into a miniature game that gives us that feel of moving things around the table.
Yeah, spot on, and it's a real testament to GW that they're trying to diversify the appeal of their games to so many different sections of the hobby community. We have for a while there we just had like non-stop board games. The newer version of what was it? The dungeon crawler.
Silver Tower.
Silver Tower, of course, which I played a lot of that, and it was a hell of a lot of fun. It was.
We're going to talk about the Blackstone Fortress, where you get to experience this miniature moving games with people that may not be as into the miniature games as you are. So our winner of the Star Wars Legion Clone Wars, Lucas Perdue from San Francisco, California. Congratulations. That's something that's a game. People love the property. People love Star Wars. People love miniature games, and you're going to be able to put that force directly on the table.
It's beautifully painted as well.
Yeah.
I will say some of the miniatures in this range are phenomenally good canvases to paint upon. Like I do really love the stormtroopers. They have that blank canvas feel to them, where they can really go as deep as you like. I do apologize. I have the hiccups right now, which is exceptional.
Well, we'll try to make it easy on you, but I will say that with the Star Wars, there's so many properties, with that, and you can bring those characters to life from any of the things like the Rebels, the Bad Batch, the Clone Wars. Like I love experiencing um, that property with my family, and then also, if you're into the miniatures game, then you get to bring that to life in a different way.
Yeah, exactly right. And I do really love how like you said, the properties, it spans so many things. It spans so many time frames. Like you said, you have the Rebels and you have the Droid Army. They existed in two different times in that anthology. And yeah, bring them together. Like when did Grievous and like Luke ever coexist in the same story? And yeah, you can play that out if you want.
Yes, you can. The next thing we're going to be doing is the mini wargaming bunker trip.
I got a couple
So
of tickets in this one. This is the first time Adam's invested. Let's see.
if you haven't checked out their bunker, so they've themed out almost like a hotel experience up there in their bunker. They do the battle reports, they do their narrative stuff, they do a lot of their filming from this cool Warhammer themed, against Age of Sigmar and Warhammer 40,000 property, and going up there and just in kind of living in their enthusiasm, I think is amazing. I mean, watch their channel. You can see it. You watch the piece that we did with Dave. It just bleeds through. If I can get a little bit of a corn pun going in there with it. But it makes you excited to be around it while you're watching it, and being up there in it, being part of that story, I think is going to be cool for people that can get there.
That venue is absolutely phenomenal.
Yep.
Oh, it's incredible. It's
Tristan Godbold.
At least you got a
currently
cool name.
Yep. Winner of the mini wargaming bunker trip. Congratulations.
Congratulations, mate. Well done. And hopefully that is just a phenomenal experience for you.
Coming up next, we have the Custodes Army we're going to talk about. So I know that we all kicked in a little bit for that.
I didn't want to get in the way of you guys. I thought, I'll diversify in some other directions.
Look,
I
sometimes we got to
appreciate
spread
that.
it around.
I want this so bad.
But this is a lot of things. So I know I'd like to own something from the artist. I know I would like to support the three charities that this is going out to. And it may sound ambitious, but I think I can match that color scheme.
Yeah. Look, I think it's safe to say this was written in the G-Dub era of Duncan, because this is a very strict to the box art, very well executed. But yeah, strict to the box art. So that means there is a lot of tutorials out there. Some of them done by Duncan himself. Like you could watch Duncan maybe
go to
paint
the
some of
Games
his
Workshop
models
page.
hilariously.
And look, even if you wanted this and you are not the lucky winner, but you can replicate it yourself. So it's, I don't want to say it's not that hard, but they make it easy because of the step-by-step process.
Yeah.
And working with metallics, what I've learned, and look, I'm not a painter. Don't take my advice for necessarily painting, but I can tell you what techniques I use to get effects. And go bold with the highlights. You've got to go brighter than maybe you thought, than you wanted to. Push yourself one step brighter, and you're closer to what you see on the screen.
Yeah, and I do like that this one is probably more obtainable for some people, in that, you can pick this up, you can find some tutorials, you can replicate something that's pretty close to this. And yeah, you just use this as a phenomenal starter army that comes from a very special place.
BMAC Attack, give me those Custodes. I'm with you. I also like your username. And then Wolfreeze Carl, thanks for checking in. It's sweet. Let's see. I may have a winner. Hang on. Winner of the Duncan Rhodes Adeptus Custodes Army is Kevin Saran from Lake Balboa, California. So not us, but still.
Well, congratulations to him. Hopefully he has a phenomenal plan to store for that army.
Yeah, and look, B Magtech says, sure, you can replicate it in quotes. don't sell yourself short. I mean, look, really, some of this stuff is it's product. It's the products themselves. Some of it is technique. And look, I'm also not selling the artistry of the painter short either. I'm just saying that this kind of stuff, if you want to get something like this and start to match it, I believe, no time like the present to start. And all, if I, and Tanya, I mean, look, you're probably the best painter of us represented on the channel right now.
No pressure.
But my advice is to go bold, push yourself, feel like, get one more color brighter in your highlights than maybe you were thinking, and I think you'll see the reward from it.
Also,
I would agree with that. Yeah, like because it's very like one color over a majority of the model. You do want to really push the contrast. So maybe use a darker wash and definitely make a brighter highlight. That's really good advice.
And
Spot on.
as far as prizes to win, you then don't have to spend money on buying a Custodes army. You just have to buy a couple of units. So that money that you saved, put that into lessons at the Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy and get them painted to the same standard.
Well done, Diffie.
Mm.
Perfect.
I like it. I like it.
Like that placement.
I can shill like the
yeah,
best
so
of them.
anyway. Look, I just think it's this stuff is it's more attainable than you think, and then I like it that you can get like these jump starts with this, like, and then once you have it in your hand, you'll know exactly like, is my red where I need it to be, where I want it to be, if I want that effect. Or is this just a detachment? Is this a special detachment with a certain attributes or whatever? And this is what I play with. Or like I said, you're playing like we're thinking about from the context of 2,000 points. There are multiple ways to enjoy this game, and that's one of the best things about the game in the edition that we're in right now for Warhammer 40,000 is that it actually supports all different methods and modes of play.
We'll have to agree to disagree on that.
You should listen to a show that Adam and I are on, and you will find out ways to also support the different ways to play. Next we have up is the Soul Piercer. So this is the Night Timer we were talking about earlier. This is by Dave Taylor, the one that is just a cavalcade of different kits all brought together in a way that an uncommon way. You know what we call that? A hero. This is a hero miniature. And Soul Piercer is going out to Connor Ogle-Zellick from Mahwah, New Jersey.
Wow.
Congratulations. I think you're going to love this. Let me know if you're fitting this into, is this just going to be an ally? Is this going to be something that you work into your already Chaos army? Do you have Chaos Knights already? Are you building this into this? Is this the start of something new for you? Hit us up later on if you don't happen to be in the chat and let us know what you plan on doing with this. If you didn't win, if you're still in chat hanging out with us, let us know what you would have done if you had gotten this. This is one of those, it's a monolithic piece, and it fits into a lot of different ways of how you can enjoy this and experience it on the game table or
honestly,
your hobby show.
I'd probably just get it a plinth with like a clear conch, put it over it, and just leave it to be the piece of art, the absolute work of art it is. But like it's a diorama in and of itself. Like you talk about,
I love that.
A crazy, amazing things people produce for events like Adepticon. You just take it with you to like an event, put it on a table, just so people get to enjoy it as well. Walk past and oogle it because it's very worthy of oogling.
Yes. Yeah, you're going to want to show it off like, oh, check this out. And I bet once you have this in your hand, you're going to be in a situation where you're going to see things you didn't even notice, from the pictures. I bet the pictures do not do this justice in any way. But congrats, yeah, exactly. Congrats to the winner of this piece. To Connor, I do not think you're going to be disappointed.
Absolutely not.
Next up, we've got the Crimson Hunters. So this is the army that, look, we only have so much time on the show, right? But please go out and check out this listing. Look at all the painters: Evan Slagle, Brian Mull, Brent, Christobach, Java Balls. Go and check out all the people that put time and effort into this. army. It's an army, and it's got lore. Like, listen, you may have heard in the broadcast that we did with Dave. There's a story behind this, and I want to know: are you going to carry that story forward, or are you going to forge your own narrative?
Yeah.
With the army? Like, what's it going to mean to you when you get it in your hands?
I'm really excited to see it. Hopefully, I want to see this go somewhere that will someone who will love it, who will care for it, who will put it on the table and let it represent the absolute superstars.
Yeah, Aang says they want these so bad, and yeah, I don't blame you. Like, this is a force that I think is only going to be cooler as time goes by, as you can add to it, as you build on whatever, or as you get your own story of their accomplishments being bathed in blood on your own battlefields. Alex Soar from Richmond, in the UK. Congratulations.
Oh my, well done. It's so leaving a whole continent, guys. It's going to the UK, and hopefully to be represented on battlefields far and wide.
Tell the story. Let us know what you're going to do with it. Again, I want to know if you contribute to the lore. Do you make your own lore? That is, look, I know there's a lot of disappointed folks that they did not win, but remember, the charities and the beneficiaries of those charities are the ultimate winners. And while we are doing this, somebody's got to be the lucky person that comes out of this. And really, congratulations. Next up is the banner for that was on the banner for this year's, or for the summer raffle this year in 2021. Baroness Aurelia.
All right, I'm crossing all my fingers, all my toes.
Yeah.
This is your bay.
It's going to be okay if I don't get it, though. It's going to be just fine. It's going to be fine. Everybody's fine.
We will be fine. Remember, we got to keep our eye on the bigger things here. But how spectacular is this night? That's one of the coolest things about the nights, is that they fit into so many, like, into the super factions. They really kind of fit in anywhere, or you play like a big robot slugger battle. Everybody brings a big robot. Have a little make your own rules for a little bit of a campaign game or a one-off game, and now
Night
you're going to have
brawls.
one of the coolest ones, ever. I think we sometimes refer to them as jousts with the knights.
Jousts. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. Held usually after an event or on the day 3 if people don't play in the final day or it cuts to finals. It's such great events, and knights are just such a beautiful thematic element of the 40k universe. I'm learning a lot about them at the moment, and man, it's such a deep faction. People just think they're just big stompy robots, but there's so much more to them.
They're big stomping.
Oh, we got
robots
another
and a
one
couple
off
of small ones.
out of the U.S. Baroness Aurelia goes to Jamie Hicks from Sudbury in the UK. Congratulations! No. I know this is this is where it goes into like we already think about that's the one of the fantasy of getting some of these tickets is immediately imagining what we would do with it. But now we've got a wave as it goes off to a really lucky winner. And thanks Jamie for contributing. I hope you enjoy it. Hope you spread some love with this thing. It's a showpiece.
I hope you love her as I would have.
Like Aang, you're in the UK also, man. Thanks for tuning in. Like, and for everyone that is invited this into their ears and their eyes, their homes, their car. Well, maybe don't watch the video. I mostly do audio. So when I ask people if they're driving and listening, not the best thing. Don't do that. But thanks for the folks that have allowed us into wherever they're watching and listening to us this afternoon, morning, evening, middle of the night, or whatever. It means a lot, and I know it means a lot to the foundation. It means a lot to these painters that you've chosen to support, and then it means a ton to these charities that we're supporting. And remember, just showing up and watching is support too, because that helps other people find us.
Yeah, it's spot on, man. And it takes so many people to make the NOCF what it is. And I think we're doing the least amount of it. We just sit here for 3 hours and celebrate all the achievements and all the work that people have already put up into this point.
Yeah, we get to talk about the cool stuff. We just get to oogle like the same way that they're doing. We got the easy job.
Paul does a bunch of interviews, but we do have the easy job.
I think I have the easiest job.
But it's a pleasure to talk to those folks.
For
I'm
sure.
telling you, because their enthusiasm just shines through, and really fortunate that I get to do that. So we're gonna draw one more winner, and that's for the Blackstone Fortress collection donated by Midwinter Minis. And then after that, that's when we're closing out the stream, and it means so much for folks just coming and hanging out with us.
Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. We thrive off the interaction with you guys. Got some chats in the got Wolf Priest Carl floating out just past the surf, almost dropped my earbud.
Don't do it.
Yeah,
Don't drop your
wow.
earbud.
That
We're
is
floating on the surf, listening to, like, how cool is that?
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Um, Thanks for hosting. Super fun to join in. Congrats to the winners. I think Osborne Studios is the painter of the Baroness. Of course it is. Dude, thank you so much for the phenomenal contribution. So sorry that I said she had magnetized arms. I feel like such a fool. I almost want to hit you up and just ask you how you painted that model and just pick your brain because yeah, it's a phenomenal piece and absolutely jaw dropping. Congratulations to the winner again.
It's a difficult color scheme, especially to get over that large of a model like that. If that was on a smaller one.
I love the kind of tightrope it walks between over and under weathering, because it looks like it's got a hell of a lot of weathering and it almost looks like it could be overdone, but it doesn't. It all works together. It looks beautiful. It's like
Yeah.
just perfect amount. It
Got
even
some-
looks like it's got some crackle paint on it in some really select spots, which I adore.
That's the thing with weathering. You almost can't do too much. Like push yourself. Like if you're an aspiring painter and you want to achieve that effect, push yourself. Almost more is better in some and not all the time, right? I mean, they found you got to find that balance, right? But some people I think tend to underdo it. They think if I put that much on there that it's too much, but you see that no, that much is perfect, and beautiful in its own right, and it has so much character and tells a story just by looking at it. Great job, and congratulations to the winner, Wolf Priest Carl. Thank you so much for tuning in the chats and being a part of this with us on our live streams. It means so much, and really appreciate the again. Can't say enough to the people that have tuned in and being here with us. So we got one more Blackstone Fortress entire collection. Oh, and so not only have folks contributed to just the tickets themselves, we've had over 100 people throw in the extra $5 when it came to the
Amazing.
checkout screen, just a little bit extra, completely just on a whim there. That's awesome because that didn't translate to a ticket. That was just helping out the charities, and that generosity means a whole lot.
Absolutely. Do we have a winner for this final extremely
Cummings, stand by. Please stand by. This is
I just wanted to take a minute to talk about the Calm Zone, which is the other charity that the Blackstone Fortress set supports. And the Calm Zone is an amazing organization that offers mental health resources and a hotline to anybody who might be in distress. I think it is a UK charity. However, I believe that they have other resources that are available online, and they just do amazing work. So this is a really great opportunity to support a really great organization.
Yeah, it's the CALM stands for it's CALM is the acronym, Campaign Against Living Miserably. And so it's very much a mental health focus and about enhancing people's lives and assisting them to live with as fewer burdens as possible mental health wise. It's something that's very close to a lot of people's hearts, especially at the moment. I mean, I say that about all the charities, especially at the moment, and it's just. Yeah, again, stunned. Thank you so much for bringing it up. We almost missed it, and that would have been a horrible disservice. Such a phenomenal group.
Got a winner for the Blackstone Fortress collection. A little bit of a drum roll. Da-da-da-da. Eric Miner from Manor, Pennsylvania. Congratulations.
Amazing.
Wow.
It is. I mean, jealous. On one hand, I'm jealous. But on the other hand, I cannot wait till you get this in your hands and can experience with your play group and go through the campaign. Blackstone Fortress is one of those to where you walk through a series of adventures, and you're going to build stories. You're going to build a lifetime of memories with this, and it is, yeah. I think you're really going to enjoy it. Thanks for contributing. Hope you really enjoyed as much as we've enjoyed looking at it.
And yeah, on that note, that's the last raffle we're going to be drawing here today. There's still a multitude more to come. So if you haven't won anything yet, please don't feel like it's by any means you're out of the woods, or you're out of with the chance. It's like we didn't even do like a quarter. Like we did like maybe a quarter of the overall draw was done here.
Let me get the gentleman's name right. Eric Rose. Apologies, but feeding the information out. I read what's on the teleprompter. That's,
Best in the biz.
Thanks, Ron
that's,
Burgundy.
So that's going to be the end of our stream. It feels like the time has flown by. I say this with sincerity. Love you guys for tuning in. Love you guys for being here with me as we've run through this and done this awareness campaign for these wonderful causes.
Yeah, it's my eternal privilege and honor to be part of such a wonderful community, to be here, be a face for something that is so incredibly positive in our community as well, and to do it with such friends and such a good cause.
Diffie, I know we asked a lot of you over the course of these couple of hours, but you have performed it flawlessly, and thanks for bringing all this to the stream. It would absolutely not be the same without you.
Well, look, as I've said in the previous streams, the charities, at least one of them in particular is quite close to heart for me, and it's an honor to be part of it.
Tanya, you are a force for good in this hobby. I mean, as the resident, best artist hobby champion on this stream, I feel like you brought us an element of credibility as we talk about some of the paint jobs.
You do me a great honor. I definitely feel like I am just a beginner in this hobby, and I'm just so honored to be included along in this crazy ride with all of you, and to be, able to support such an amazing organization that is the NOCF. So thank you so much, everybody.
And when we're talking about the community and stuff, we truly are in this together. And so seeing everybody come together like this with their time, with their effort, with their dollars for the tickets, and then with this desire to be a part of something greater than themselves, I think we've accomplished that. We're over $100,000 for the summer raffles here from the Nova Open Charitable Foundation, and we have represented just a small part of that. I mean, I know, and this is not tongue in cheek or joking. We've only got to speak about this, which is ultimately the easy thing, with us talking about, because you can look at them. They're awesome. They're amazing. Who doesn't want to talk about them, right? All right. But what has happened behind the scenes is everyone coming together, chipping away. It really is just little incremental things that have become part of something absolutely stellar that are going to make a difference in people's lives. And I don't know how to describe it any more than that, or any differently than that. It's been an honor to be a part of it.
Absolutely right, my man.
And so everybody behind the scenes of the Nova Open Charitable Foundation, I want to let you know the rest of the winners will be announced. Everything will be put up on the website. I know with confidence all the winners will be contacted, and then sooner or later you're going to get these things in your hands. Hit us up on social media. Let me see pictures of you as you unbox it, unwrap it. Let us know what you're going to do with these things that you've gotten, and then come back and check us out for the fall. There's going to be a whole nother host of stuff going up. Each one is going to be as spectacular or different, or more, maybe speak to you differently than some of these had. But with that, I'll wrap us up. Anybody got anything they want to say before we close this out?
Love this community. Love you all. Love the NOCF. Thank you so much, you guys.
What he said.
Ditto.
There you go. Well, y'all have a great rest of y'all's day wherever you are in the world. Thanks again. We'll see you real soon. This is Paul Murphy checking out Nova Open Charitable Foundation. Check them out. See you next time.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.